Hello, everyone. We're here yet again for another Tubcast. Hello, Lilith. How are you doing?
Hello, Dev, and hello, everybody. I'm
Um,
having a fantastic weekend.
I wonder how my audio is set up. I had to change some things about my mic to talk to Erudite a couple days ago,
Yeah,
and
I saw that.
it was a lot of fun. So, let me just adjust my chair here too. God damn it. Okay. Okay. Hi, everyone. Hopefully things sound okay. If they don't, let me know, and I'll try to adjust. Hopefully the audio levels are fine. Um, we're here to talk about Trump's Mar-a-Lago classified documents, okay? Now, there's somebody immediately in the chat who's already coping. He's like,
Oh
"You're not
no.
going to talk about Biden's bribery or January 6th being confirmed to be a Fed op?" Well, those two conversations are different conversations. I'm willing to talk about them. It's just not the topic of today. You know, I don't like. I'll talk about those eventually, I'm sure. But right now, we're going over this topic. I don't necessarily feel the need to make every stream about every single thing happening all at once. You know what I mean?
But Dev, don't you know that if you like waffles, then you must hate pancakes?
If you like waffles, you must hate pancakes. Oh, let me just adjust some
How the
things here.
internet works.
Yeah, I've heard that. I remember that viral tweet. Yeah, that was ridiculous. Mm. So we we talked about this last summer because we talked about it like when the actual raid on Mar-a-Lago happened, the FBI raid. And I took a quick look at that stream that we did, and I think our basic consensus was it's possible that the FBI is just using some sort of trumped up charges as an excuse to politically persecute Donald Trump. It's possible. It's still possible, to be honest. But but like if they actually have proof of wrongdoing, then they should be investigating him, obviously.
Yep. Oh, there's a question of just why aren't they doing it to other politicians
Mhm.
in equal measures?
Yes, that's another question.
Such
It's
as
like,
such as Pelosi, where it's just like her investments and all that stuff.
yep, the stocks with like her husband. Yep, it's all reasonable questions, right? It's all reasonable questions. But
Yep.
nonetheless,
Real
if
questions.
if Trump himself is guilty, he should have the book thrown at him. That's my opinion. Always will be my
Yep.
opinion. Yeah.
But also, other politicians should also get this similar treatment.
Hmm.
Because why not? It's good to hold our politicians to standards,
Hmm.
and we all know how corrupt they are.
Oh, oh. Also, Wonderful Galaxy says, Lilith, you are a groomer. So Galaxy is like he doesn't actually mean that. He's a known troll. He actually says this sort of stuff just to get under people's skin. Don't worry about it. There are some people I think who actually think that you are a groomer, but he's not one of them. He's actually just fucking around.
Well, they are the groomers.
They are the groomers. People are saying
The
like,
only creature I groom are cats,
oh, okay.
in that I make sure that their furs are pretty and that they get plenty of pets.
Some people in the chat were saying that you were very like pro that trans woman on the White House lawn shaking her boobs around so that kids could see. And I was like, hold on, I don't. That doesn't sound like Lilith. I don't think that's your opinion, is it?
It's the question, like, so basically, the Daily Wire posts their whole stink about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and then I asked, why is this a big deal if they think she's a man?
Right.
Like,
So if those are
there were
man boobs,
also,
yeah, I get it. Like,
yeah, if there were fake men boobs, like, what's wrong with a dude having his chest out? You know, like
I
if
mean,
that's their beliefs,
I would probably say
like,
that you probably shouldn't be topless on the White House lawn, regardless of which sex you are. You know what I mean? Like,
and that's a fair stance to have. But the thing about that is there were like literally dudes with their chest out, not even covering their nipples, like
mm-hmm.
and it turns out later that the dudes there are female to male trans men.
Yep.
So it's like And yet all the stories from conservative outlets are focused on the trans woman.
Yep. Well, to be honest,
So there's a bit of irony there.
I mean,
Like,
she still shouldn't have done it. Like, I don't think anybody should be getting naked on the White House lawn. That's not the place for it, you know.
oh, I never argued that it's okay. Oh, even though personally, I think like chess way being like there's way too much stigma when it comes to that. Like ancient cultures got it right
They just walked
when they
around
thought female
topless.
chess weren't that big of a deal, you know.
Maybe, maybe. Oh, Mr. Bruh for £5. Did you hear the news? On the 10th of June, Ted Kaczynski died by suicide. Rest in power, Uncle Ted. Hashtag Ted pilled. R.I.P.
Fuck him.
What do you mean? He was like an anti-government type. You know, live off in the woods and be like a libertarian. He was your guy.
Nah, fuck Emprims.
Fuck Anprims.
If you wanted to fuck off in the woods, you should have stayed there.
Apparently, like, the reason he started blowing stuff up is because he did fuck off into the woods, but then, like, development started buying up the forest he lived in, and then it got, like, bulldozed. And so he was,
The
and
forest.
then he was just like, listen, the constant advancement of technology will be such that there will be no more forests for people like me to retreat into. So there's probably some point to that, to be honest.
But like, could have made money and bought forest land. Like, I'm pretty sure forest land, especially during his time, weren't that bad.
Yep, that's true. Oh, I saw a movie clip. I don't know what movie it was, but it was clearly a movie because it was Kevin Costner. And it was like, you know how sometimes you'll see just like a 30-second clip of like a cool scene from a movie on like a YouTube short or something while you're scrolling. And it was like, there was Kevin Costner owns like a giant ranch, a bunch of forest and like some mountains. He has this big estate, right, out in the middle of, you know, the interior of the U.S. somewhere. And there's a bear running around in this estate, and there's a bunch of Chinese tourists who are like getting really close to it and being like, "Oh, wildlife! Oh, it's so cool!" And then Kevin Costner drives up in his truck, right? And he jumps out, and he's like, "Are you fucking people insane? Get away from the bear! It's gonna fucking eat you!" And the tourists, they were all Chinese, and they were just like, "Oh, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine." And then like only one of them could speak English, right? So they started asking the translator to ask, like, well, like what are you doing here telling us that we can't be here? And he says, well, I own all this land. Like, I own the forest, and, you know, I own this farmland, and I own the mountain. Like, I bought this, like all this land because this is my property. And then the Chinese people said, you shouldn't be allowed to own land because it should be used for the good of everyone to enjoy, so that we can all come out here and enjoy the forest. And he was just like, oh yeah, eh? And he pulls out his shotgun and starts firing into the air. And he's just like, get the fuck off my land.
Based.
That's Yellowstone? Okay. That's awesome, dude. I haven't seen it before. I've only seen that one clip, and it's like, oh, that sounds cool. That sounds neat.
You're off them commies, you know?
Yeah. Goddamn communists. Tricky Mario, $8. Hello, Deb. Check those DMs yet? I listen, dude. Like, E3 every year puts a giant wrench into everything. I was not making any. I was doing all gaming content for like a week on this channel because it was all E3. It was all E3, man. We were doing like big E3 streams. I wasn't working on any videos. I wasn't doing anything. Now that I'm back, there'll be videos again. There'll be regular streams again. Everything's going to go back to normal. E3 is always that one time a year where things, where things, they change up a little bit. It's just how it is. It's okay. It's all right. Happens every once in a while. Okay. So let's talk about the situation. Here, I'll share my screen with you, Lilith, so you can see what I've got up. There it is. And I'll show you guys my screen too. Okay. So Trump has 4 investigations happening against him right now. All right? And none of them have anything to do with all the Russia bullshit. As far as I understand, The Russia nonsense ended up just being all smoke, no fire. Right? There was nothing really there.
Yep.
People were screaming about, oh, Trump's, but he's a Russian agent. It's like it was all bullshit. It was all bullshit, right?
Yep, this is not Pissgate.
Yeah, this is not Pissgate. We're not talking about Pissgate. That was like very clearly fucking retarded, right? There were, so this guy here, by German Lopez, what a name. He outlines the 3 other Trump investigations, because there's 4 in total, right? There's 4 in total. Does he have them all? Right. So there's the documents in Mar-a-Lago, which we're going to talk about today. There's the January 6th attack on the Capitol. This one Trump will probably win, because they're not going to be able to actually prove that he definitively incited the January 6th riot, because even though he said we have to march to the Capitol and we have to fight back, he also said peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard. So he very clearly was talking about a protest, not an actual riot. So I think there's enough leeway in this angle of attack against Trump that it's not going to go anywhere. If they bring this to court, Trump will probably win this one.
It's pretty far-fetched.
Yeah.
Like them saying that he directly incited them. I mean, one could say he indirectly led them to something, but like, but he did tell him to go back peacefully. Let's be fair here.
Yeah, he also said go home. Yeah, he also said that. So they're not going to get him on any sort of incitement. Same with Georgia. The Georgia one is also like these two are like the Georgia one and the January 6th one are the ones where like they're really reaching. Like they're not going to get Trump on these. So with Georgia, they're saying that because Trump called up Georgia's Secretary of State and asked him to find nearly 12,000 votes to flip the state's tally in his favor. Because he called him up and asked him to do that, they're going to claim that that was Trump saying, manufacture 12,000 votes so that I win the state. And that was him like putting pressure on the Secretary of State. And to be honest, that I'm surprised that like more right-wingers don't see that, because, you know, they see the inherent act of the government talking to Twitter as inherently putting pressure, even if it was just a request. Like that was the whole thing about the Twitter files, right? Is that the government like calls up Twitter and says, hey, can you give me XYZ? Twitter says, no, we won't. Then the government leaves them alone. Because that happens sometimes in the Twitter files. And they're like, well, the government shouldn't be pushing any, because there's inherent pressure that comes with the government speaking to other groups. And it's like, okay, fair enough. But here's the president asking a state to find 12,000 votes. So, and the logic behind this lawsuit is that is inherently pressuring. Even if Trump didn't mean manufacture 12,000 votes, it's inherently pressuring for him to ask it. Now, that's retarded, obviously. That's obviously stupid. It's very clear that the way that Trump was saying it, he was just saying, like, listen, can you, like, recount? Maybe you'll find the votes that I need. But, like, it's very clear that he wasn't looking to rig the election. He was stating what he wanted to find, not what they wanted him, not what he wanted them to manufacture. Right?
Yeah, there's like multiple ways of reading his statements on that.
Mm-hmm.
One is, as you said, he's just asking them to do like a recount, which is probably the most likely, because like if you remember at the election time, there were like videos of vans showing up with votes at the midnight, which is, as we find out after the investigation, pretty normal.
Yep.
But at the time, it seemed pretty sus. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And also like the case of votes underneath the table, that like it was really funny because there's that one viral video that everyone saw of, there was like, after the polls close, the workers pull out like a case of votes that was stashed underneath the table and they start counting them. And the reason that was there is because those were actually ballots that were cast before the day of. And in fact, it was Republicans in that area that changed the local laws such that any ballots that were cast early had to be counted at the end. They couldn't be counted as they came in. They had to be counted after the main tally was done. So That's why they were pulling out these stashes of ballots that were in storage, because the law had been changed. The process had been changed such that they had to count these ballots late. So,
Right.
yeah, a lot of the things that appeared to be corruption early on in the 2020 election process ended up like shaking out to be mostly fine. You know?
Yeah. If people want to be super uncharitable with this, you could say that, oh, Trump was telling the Georgians to fabricate votes for him out of thin air because he's an evil orange meat and all that stuff.
They're not going to prove that though. There's no way they
Yeah,
can
they're
prove
they're,
that.
they're not going to be able to prove that.
Yeah.
So
So,
it's like
yeah. So Georgia.
those two, he'll probably be able to talk his way out of no
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah. I don't think there's going to be no crime they can actually hit on Trump, pin on Trump with January 6th. There's going to be no crime they can pin on Trump with Georgia, in my opinion. And then the fourth one was the Stormy Daniels payoff, which we talked about in the last stream. And we kind of went into detail on the Stormy Daniels payoff because the TLDR of it was basically that because the money given to Stormy Daniels was marked down for tax purposes as it was like legal consultation or something with his lawyer with Cohen. And because it was marked down like that, they didn't pay proper taxes on it, and so that ended up like opening a giant can of worms where they went after one of like Trump's right hand men, and they like completely destroyed this guy's career because they uncovered him like siphoning millions of dollars into his own pockets. And
Yeah, it's
then,
part of like their whole personal deal thing where it's like,
yep,
oh, I'll give you these, I'll scratch your back if you scratch mine
yep,
type of deal.
yep,
Which rich people do all the time. It
they do,
it,
yep.
it is corruption, but they do that all the time.
Hmm. But then they managed to finally turn around and say, okay, if we can prove that this payoff was meant to specifically help Trump's election chances, which is a bit of a stretch, so they might not be able to pull it off. It's kind of a weird way of interpreting the law. But like if they could pull it off, what that means is that now that payoff is not just a misdemeanor, it's a felony, and it's back within the statute of limitations, and they can actually hit Trump with that one. So that one, the Stormy Daniels one, is like the weirdest case because they might actually have an argument, but it's like very much of a stretch. Like, yeah, the January 6th attack and the Georgia ones, they're like Hail Marys, not going to go anywhere. The Stormy Daniels one might go somewhere, but it's very clearly a stretch. Like it's like that's not the way the law is meant to be used in this case, I think.
Yeah, it's like a maybe
Yeah.
because they know that if it's just a misdemeanor, the statute of limitations it's over, so they're trying to elevate it.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So, the most solid case they have against Trump is the Mar-a-Lago documents case. This is the one. This is the one that will actually probably nail him to the fucking wall. Okay? And you just have to see some of the shit that they uncovered Trump doing with these documents. Okay? Thanks for the $20, Yoru Emiya. Appreciated. Shut up and take my money. Thank you very much. Okay. So, let's just quickly read this here. Yep. The classified documents case may be close to wrapping up. In August, this was the one that we did that stream on last year, an FBI search at Trump's home in Florida turned up more than 100 classified documents that were supposed to remain in the government's possession. The Justice Department is trying to determine whether Trump hid the documents after he had been served with a subpoena ordering him to return them. So basically, the documents were found at Trump's home. The Justice Department said, return the documents. Trump said, I don't have the documents. And it turns out he did. So now they're trying to figure out, did Trump actively hide them? Or did Trump just not know they were there? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So one piece of potential evidence in the case, which was revealed, is that prosecutors have a recording of Trump discussing a sensitive military document that he kept after leaving the White House, and that he acknowledged in the recording was not previously declassified. So there's been several people in the chat right now. I see Brock saying it. Right? Is he there? Where's Brock? Where is he? No. Banana Horde said it this time. Sorry. He said, nope, his documents from his time in office, which he declassified. So here's the thing. In the phone call, he said, I didn't declassify this. I have it and I didn't declassify it. Like, listen, it's true that the president has the unilateral authority to declassify pretty much every single document, with the exception of documents that fall under the Atomic Act, because that was under the power of Congress to declassify. That's a different thing. But like in terms of military documents and like security and that sort of thing, it's just the executive office can declassify at will. They just have to say, I'm declassifying this, and it's declassified, right? But here's Trump saying, I didn't declassify this. I have it. Do you want to see it? Like, that's a that's a big old fuck up, isn't it?
Look, he's just bragging with the boys, all right? He's just doing a little bit of flex.
Mhm.
In a very stupid way.
Yeah. It's very okay. It feels like the
Who
fucking
amongst us hasn't flexed about
yeah.
holding illegal
Mhm.
classified documents that they have not declassified, all right?
So
It could happen to anyone.
it really sounds like the Thug Shaker Central Discord server. Remember that shit? Like a month ago or
Yes.
so, there was like a security guy who was like leaking secrets into his Discord of like 20 friends, and he worked for the military, and he's like, look at this stuff, dude, look at this, isn't this so cool? Like, he did it literally for clout. It's like, look at this, guys, isn't it awesome that I have this like top secret stuff? And he fucking destroyed his life.
It was a case of him just, people were saying, oh, you don't have the documents, and then he just dropped the links to the docs as a flex.
So hold on. Fucks says the act of taking them out, in fact, does declassify them, even if he didn't know he was doing it. That's not true, though, because Obama had classified documents in his house, and he returned them when he was asked to do so after his presidency. So no, you have to actually at least say that you're declassifying them. You can't just be like, oh, yeah, I grabbed a box of documents. I walked out of the office with them, and they were like psychically declassified. Like, that's not how this works. It's not how this fucking works.
And the main thing is you have to return them if they ask you.
Yes, you do. You absolutely do. So let's actually take a look at some of the situation here. Okay, so this is from a while ago. This is actually about Trump's time in office from 2016 to 2020. He never stopped ripping things up. Inside Trump's relentless document destruction habits. Trump's shredding of paper in the White House was far more widespread and indiscriminate than previously known, and despite multiple admonishments, extended throughout his presidency. So, Trump tore up briefings and schedules, articles and letters, memos, both sensitive and mundane. He ripped paper into quarters with two big clean strokes, or occasionally more vigorously into smaller scraps. He then left the detritus on his desk at the Oval Office, in the trash can of his private West Wing study, and on the floor aboard Air Force One, among many other places. And he did it all in violation of the Presidential Records Act, despite being urged by at least two chiefs of staff and the White House counsel to follow the law on preserving documents. So, like, Trump just didn't give a shit, right? He just like, I'll just rip it up. I'll just put it in the shredder. Who cares? I'll just throw it around. Like, it's funny, you know. It's like Trump's just like Giga Chad. I don't care. It's like, no, you have to save it. You have to. I don't care. Just rip. It's actually really funny to think about. Yeah.
Which, to be fair, dealing with paperwork is a lot of work. Like, there's all these papers, they lie around everywhere. Like, who the fuck has that time, you know?
And who's that time?
Like,
so apparently, like, because Trump, like, he just did not care about any of it, there were like other people who were just like going around behind him, picking up all the paper and like retaping it back together to give to the archivist. Like, imagine like, oh man, it's amazing, dude. I've been studying for so long, and I finally got a prestigious job working at the White House. And your job is to follow Trump around and like rebuild all the documents he shreds up for 4 years. Like, what a terrible job.
you're just a babysitter. Like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure people have told him you're not supposed to do that. On more than one occasion, but Trump's like, I'm Trump. I don't care.
It's really funny, actually. So, yeah, White Guard in the chat says, that's about how I would expect a civilian to handle classified documents. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just like, he's just kind of, he's just goofing. And it's fine. Like Trump was kind of a goof, you know?
Yeah,
Yep. Oh, and
he
also,
didn't exactly elect him for his political prowess,
yeah.
knowing everything.
Also, to top it off, photos show handwritten notes that Trump apparently ripped up and attempted to flush down the toilet. So here's pictures of some notes that were supposed to be archived, and Trump decided to flush them down the toilet. Like, all right, dude. You know, are these
His
the actual?
plumbers loves him, I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh, dude, there's even like a speck of fecal matter there in the toilet too. It's Trump poopies.
Well, I mean, maybe he was just using it as toilet paper, you know? What if just being rich doesn't mean you don't run out of toilet papers at some point. I mean, who amongst us hasn't wiped our ass because of top
with,
secret documents?
with random things because you ran out of toilet paper.
Yeah.
Now, see, like, the poop got archived as well. So, like, this could be a fake photo, right? Like, who the fuck knows what actual bathroom this is, right? Like, who the fuck knows, right? But I mean, you can see visible handwriting in it. I'll just open it again. You can see, like, is that, like, it says Rogers there. Is that Trump's handwriting? Maybe. You know, who knows, right? But
I mean, maybe the FBI took a shit at Mar-A-Lago and ripped up some documents and put it there, you know?
Yeah.
You don't know.
So, um, newly revealed photographs reveal 2 occasions on which former President Donald Trump apparently flushed documents in the toilet. Maggie Haberman, a New York Times reporter and CNN contributor, is publishing the new images in her forthcoming book, Confidence Man. Let's see here. He periodically flushed papers down the toilet in the White House residence, only to be discovered later on when repairmen were summoned to fix the clogged toilets. Trump denied the allegations, and in a statement given to Access on Monday, a spokesman claimed that the reporting about the practice was fabricated. Like, this sounds like, you know, a kid who's caught flushing shit down the toilet and was like, no, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. like, who? So, apparently, one image is from a White House toilet. The other is from an overseas trip that was provided to her by a Trump White House source. So, like, this could be faked. It's possible she just pulled this out of her ass to make her new book sound more bombastic than it is. It is funny though. It is funny. We have to get
Yep.
like, we would have to get some sort of somebody who worked at the White House to come out and be like, yeah, okay, he did this. Someone would have to say it.
Well, it is very funny.
Mm-hmm. It is very funny. So, yep. Trump and the keepers of U.S. secrets did have a very strained relationship during his time as president. And it was important for him to understand that after he stopped being president, all the normal rules applied to him, because the power to declassify documents does not extend past whatever. It wasn't January 6th. It was like January 20 something when finally the president changes hands, the presidency. Like, basically, the minute Trump was out of office, he couldn't declassify things anymore. And anything classified that he didn't have clearance to have should have been returned, right? Like, he it's not like he just retains the powers to declassify, you know, for the rest of time. It's not how it works, right? And there's definitely reports from within the Trump, from people who actually did work in the White House this time, that Trump's leaving office was kind of done haphazardly. Like, but by the past couple, in the past 2 days, apparently they were running low on time, and they were just throwing shit in boxes and moving it out of there, and they had no idea where anything was. So, it's completely conceivable that Trump stole way more documents than most normal presidents do on the way out and just didn't know. Like, it's possible that he just didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a possibility. Moving is an arduous process for anybody who has ever moved. Like, losing the election was pretty much just him getting evicted. So, it's a lot of work to move.
It is. It is. I've done it a few times. So hold on. Yeah. Oh fuck says the only things he would have had clearance. Yeah. Okay. As long as those were not mixed in there, he declassified them by taking them. Oh fucks, that's not true, because Obama did the same thing after his term in office. He had classified materials at his home, and he had to return them. It's pretty common, actually, that like sometimes, it's like mixed in with other files, or a staffer takes, or they don't know. It's at your like home office or whatever the case, or like, and you're just like, oh shit, dude, I didn't know, and then you return it. Like, that's the process. Yeah.
Like, everybody makes mistakes, especially when we're talking about boxes and boxes of shit. Like, all types of shit could have been in there, like photos or just not classified shit. Like, who has time to sort through it? But the big difference is that when asked to return it, you have to return it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know the process about it. Maybe do they have like people? Will they have like staffers where people from the FBI come in and look for it, or are they responsible for gathering it all up?
Yeah. So here we go.
Like,
here's how it is. The
you do have to
1978.
return it.
Yeah, the 1978 Presidential Records Act. Okay. Here's how it works basically. It defines and states public ownership of the records. It places responsibility for the custody and management of incumbent presidential records with the president. It allows the incumbent president to dispose of records that no longer have administrative, historical, informational, or evidentiary value once he or she has obtained the views of the archivist of the United States on the proposed disposal in writing. It establishes a process for restriction and public access to these records. Okay. It requires that the vice presidential records are to be treated in the same way as presidential records. All right. So, okay, hold on. I'm still reading here. Yep, requires that a president and his staff take all practical steps to file personal records separately from presidential records. Okay. Special access from courts and Congress. Incumbent presidential records are held on courtesy storage by the archivist, but they're the executive legal custody of the president. All right. Okay. So basically, for example, give me a second here. I'll just pull this up real quick so you guys can see it. Yeah. So, yep. Obama and Clinton say that all of their classified documents went to the archives. Yep. Consistent with the Presidential Records Act, all of President Obama's classified records were submitted to the National Archives upon leaving office. Yeah. Same with George W. Bush. Same with President Clinton. Justice Department will not seek criminal charges against Mike Pence for his classified documents. So they found classified documents at former Vice President Mike Pence's personal home, but they will not bring any charges. And the reason is Pence's attorney, in January, Pence's attorney found about a dozen documents marked classified in Pence's Indiana home after the former Vice President asked his lawyer to search his records. Okay. Pence turned over the classified records to the FBI following their discovery. Pence said he was unaware that documents were at his home. He said mistakes were made, took responsibility. So basically, and also if you go to Biden here, so here's like they found Biden's classified documents at Biden's home from his era as vice president with under Obama. So for those 4 years between 2016 and 2020, Biden should not have had these classified documents, but he did. And so they found multiple instances, 5 more pages found at Biden's house. They're investigating. They do a review. The documents were inadvertently misplaced, and the president and his lawyers acted promptly upon discovery of the mistake. So Biden gave them back. He found them in a locked closet. They shouldn't have been there. They were turned over to the National Archives. So in all of these cases, all right, Clinton, Bush, Obama, Biden, Mike Pence, in all of these cases, all of these guys found out that they accidentally retained classified documents. They said, oh shit, my bad. They gave them back to the government, and charges were not pursued. So it seems like there is at least, if not like codified in law, there is certainly some professional leniency where they're like, okay, we get it. You accidentally have them. You used to have clearance, now you don't, and then you give them back, right? And they're not going to go after you. Okay?
Yeah,
So,
so
yeah,
it's
go
a
on.
surprisingly common mistake.
Yeah.
Like pretty much even like professional politicians can make. Like we're talking about like boxes and boxes of documents. Like even if you do have staffers, like sometimes they'll miss it. It happens.
Yeah.
So, but I'm sure we're gonna discuss about how Trump is different when it comes to this regards.
Yeah, so basically Trump was asked to give back classified documents like all of them, and rather than giving them back, Trump said, "Oh, I don't have any." And so they investigated him, right?
I believe he did give some back.
He gave maybe a few? Yeah.
Yeah, he gave them a few, like a few boxes. But then when the investigation comes, they found so many more.
Yeah. Pence looks like a ghoul in the photo. He looks like a fucking zombie. Look at this guy. It's like, oh
Oof.
shit.
Not enough adrenochrome.
So.
Like the child farms are running a bit dry, you know? Can't harvest adrenochrome like you used to.
So here we go. Yeah. So there's another new book shows that Trump knew that certain letters between him and Kim were classified. Trump said at one point, "Oh, these are so top secret," undermining his frequent claims that none of the material he took after leaving office was sensitive. So yeah, imagine holding up a document. Like in public, Trump is like, "Listen, guys, I don't have any classified documents." And he goes back into private and he's like, "Look at this classified document, dude." It's like, how dumb. Like, okay, let's see.
Like, he could have played dumb and just be like, hey, I didn't know. Everybody makes mistakes. Like, Bush did, Obama did,
Yeah.
Pence did, Biden did, you know? I'm no different. But then you went and bragged about having secret documents that they didn't take.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, at that point, you really have anybody to blame but yourself.
Yeah. Well, actually, hold on. This might be a different situation. This might have happened before he left office. So then this would have actually been kosher for Trump to do. Because Trump can do whatever he wants when he's in office, right? So, okay,
Yeah.
in December 2019, after then President Donald Trump had shared with journalist Bob Woodward the fawning letters that North Korean leader Kim Jong-un had written to him, the U.S. leader seems to acknowledge that he should not be showing them around. After urging Woodward to treat them with respect, Trump warns in an interview, "And don't say I gave them to you, okay?" Okay, it's just so funny. It's like, listen, just don't tell anyone. It's like some playground shit, dude.
It's pretty funny. But if he did it while he was in office, then that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I heard there were like recordings of him doing it after he was no longer the incumbent president.
Yeah, that'll be a little bit later. But for this one, I'll let you see them. I don't want you to have them all. He says, "Oh, these are so top secret" in January 2020, but he's still president at this point. So
I mean, it's silly and childish, but probably legal.
probably legal at this. Yeah, this story's probably legal. It seems because he was still president, so you can just do whatever I want. Okay, let's continue on then. So I think Trump kind of knew
image
that.
of Trump showing like people, hey, check this shit out, is really funny though. Like,
Yeah, check this shit out. So Trump, I think Trump's team knew that of the 4 legal battles he's finding himself in, this one is actually the serious one because as the indictment was imminent, Trump requested a meeting with the Department of Justice. And he's like, "Can we just like work out a deal here, dude? Like, fuck." And 2 of his lawyers quit after the indictment dropped. They were like,
Oof.
we're getting the fuck out of this sinking ship. we are
That's
piecing out.
probably not a good sign. Like,
Mhm.
how's he even gonna find new lawyers?
Yep. Yeah, he said they have tendered their resignations as counsel of President Trump, and we will no longer represent him on either the indicted case or the January 6th investigation. That's an oops. All right, so
I mean,
yeah,
it's a great opportunity for some really brave and possibly very stupid lawyers to
Mhm.
feel like, oh, what? I can take up the mantle.
So let's see here.
Judging from the past of people working with Trump, it might be people digging their graves.
Maybe
So,
you should be able to hear this. I think if I play it. The former president was captured on tape discussing a classified document. He could raise his legal exposure. Okay, let's see. Let's watch this a little bit here.
Great to CNN's Caitlin Collins. Caitlin, what exactly is on this recording?
Well, it's significant, Jake, because this is something that could significantly undermine essentially everything that Trump has been saying in defense to this document's investigation. And the reason that this is the meeting that matters so much is it was actually months before that effort that was underway to get so many of those documents from Mar-A-Lago back to the National Archives. There was certainly a back and forth, but this was back in the summer of 2021. And Trump is meeting with people who are writing an autobiography for Mark Meadows at his Bedminster Club in New Jersey. They are talking about a story that just came out in the New Yorker that Susan Glasser published. It was about General Mark Milley, who, as you know, is the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. And it was about his concerns that in those waning days of the Trump presidency, that Trump was going to potentially take military action when it came to Iran, and Milley's efforts to push back on that. And what we are told is on this tape is Trump discussing a document that is classified that he says if he could show it to the people that he's speaking to, that it would undermine what Milley's argument is, that Milley was the one pushing back against Trump's efforts to potentially take military action in Iran. Now, we have not actually heard this recording, Jake, but we do know it is in the hands of the prosecutors who are investigating his handling of classified documents after he left office. We do know that
I wonder if we'll be able to hear it
on this recording. We know that there are people
during the
laughing
trial
in the background. I'm told that this part only is about 2 minutes long that pertains to Iran. It's part of a much longer recording that prosecutors now have. The reason, though, Jake, that it's significant is that Trump seems to indicate on this tape, as he is speaking with those that he has gathered with him at his New Jersey club, that he cannot show it to them, that he has taken something that is a classified document and that he is limited in his post-presidency ability to declassify something, which of course would undercut the argument that he's been making all along.
And Caitlin, just a few weeks ago at the town
hall,
so
hold on. So they had the phone call described to them by multiple people who all said the same thing, but they didn't hear the phone call. So I mean, it's possible the entire phone call is just fake, right? But if they're going to court and they have to present the phone call in court, like at some point it'll come out. It'll have to be presented in court at some point as part of the evidence, because this phone call that they talk about here, I have a transcript of it a little bit later. We can look into the transcript, but like the transcript's here. So like they could just be faking a fucking phone call, right? There could just actually be no phone call, but
fake news. So they're trying to get me. Never happened.
Someone says, how come no one has heard it? Apparently lots of people have heard it. There are lots of people who are investigating him have heard it.
It is not public yet.
Yeah. Well, honestly, a lot of evidence like this.
Gonna hear it at some point.
Yeah, exactly, right. So like a lot of evidence like this tends to remain somewhat private until the trial date, and then it becomes public as the trial goes on, because everyone watches the trial, right? Yeah. So let's see.
So we're probably gonna hear it in Trump's voice, but for now we have the transcript.
Yeah. So the Trump indictment was unsealed a week or two ago. I think about a week ago. And there's been some funny things in the transcript. So for example, these pictures went viral, all right? Special counsel Jack Smith's indictment against former President Trump includes photos of document boxes stored in various places at Mar-A-Lago. So here's all the documents. A pile of documents that Trump shouldn't have had. They're just being stored on a stage at Mar-a-Lago. Like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? What are you... And then, in a bathroom, just stack them up in a fucking bathroom at Mar-a-Lago. Why not? This is where you store all of your top secret documents, right?
Oh yeah.
Put them right
I
beside the
hear the
shitter.
moisture is great for the papers,
Yeah.
I'm sure they don't smell like mold or anything.
Also, Jesus, like, look how gaudy that chandelier is. Like, holy fuck. All right.
Oh, to be fair, if you look at any of the Trump Tower and the Trump's decoration, they're
Yeah, it's all gold.
super gaudy.
Oh, do you recall that at one point he wanted like a gold-plated plane, and he was told he couldn't do it because it wouldn't be able to fly? Okay, here's documents in a basement. Okay.
Trump thinks real life is GTA.
More basement. Apparently one of the boxes fell over. It's beside someone's guitar. Yep, more documents. More documents. Dude, the funniest pictures are the documents on the stage and documents in the bathroom. Like, what? I'm picturing the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark, where they like put the Ark into the box and like wheel it away to be held at like a government facility, but it's just Trump's bathroom.
Look, top men are handling it, okay?
Top
Top
men.
men.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, look, to play devil's advocate, we don't know what's in the boxes. It could just be pictures of puppies.
It could be
Or-
it could be like
could just-
unclassified documents mixed with classified ones. Yeah.
It could just be unclassified documents.
Mm.
Or it could just be mountains and mountains of free food porn.
Yep.
We don't know.
We don't know. Okay, so here the indictment was unsealed, so we can actually read it. So we're going to read some of it. It's very long, as legal documents tend to be, but there's some interesting things here, okay? So, defendant Donald J. Trump was the 45th President of the United States of America. He held office from January 20th, 2017 until January 20th, 2021. As president, Trump had lawful access to the most sensitive classified documents and national defense information gathered and owned by the United States government, including information from the agencies that comprise the United States intelligence community and the United States Department of Defense. Over the course of his presidency, Trump gathered newspapers, press clippings, letters, notes, cards, photographs, official documents, and other materials in cardboard boxes that were kept in the White House. Among the materials Trump stored in his boxes were hundreds of classified documents. The classified documents Trump stored in his boxes included information regarding defense and weapons capabilities of both the United States and foreign countries, United States nuclear programs, potential vulnerabilities of the United States and its allies to military attack, and plans for possible retaliation in response to a foreign attack. The unauthorized disclosure of these classified documents could put at risk the national security of the United States, foreign relations, the safety of the U.S. military, and human sources and the continued viability of sensitive intelligence collection methods. At 12 p.m. on January 20th, 2021, Trump ceased to be president. As he departed the White House, Trump caused scores of boxes, many of which contained classified documents, to be transported to the Mar-A-Lago Club in Palm Beach, Florida, where he maintained his residence. Trump was not authorized to possess or retain these classified documents. The Mar-a-Lago Club was an active social club. Okay, yep. Had tens of thousands of guests and members. Trump was not an authorized location for the storage, possession, review, display, or discussion of classified documents. Nevertheless, Trump stored his boxes containing classified documents in various locations at the Mar-a-Lago Club, including in a ballroom, a bathroom, and a shower, an office space, his bedroom, and a storage room. On 2 occasions in 2021, Trump showed classified documents to others. So here's the juicy bit, okay? Because everyone keeps saying, Trump declassified them. They're declassified. And no, you don't just declassify them by moving them around, because one of Trump's final actions actually was to declassify some things. So Trump knew that he had to declassify them by at least telling somebody that he did so. Like, you have to tell the rest of the administration, hey, this is now declassified. Do whatever you want with it, right? Like,
Yep.
it is within his power while he's president to declassify documents. But you have to actually tell someone. You can't just declassify them psychically in your head and then expect it to stick and not tell anyone. You know, like, it's stupid, right? So,
Yeah, but he's Trump, so who knows what
so
he'd be doing.
here's the examples, okay? We're going to take a look at these examples. Let's zoom in. In July 2021, at Trump National Golf Club in Bedminster, New Jersey, which is the Bedminster Club, during an audio recorded meeting with a writer, a publisher, and 2 members of his staff, none of whom possessed a security clearance, Trump showed and described a plan of attack that Trump said was prepared for him by the Department of Defense and a senior military official. Trump told the individuals that the plan was highly confidential and secret. Trump also said, as president, I could have declassified it. I could have declassified it. Now I can't, you know. This is still the secret. So, like, this bit right here is what will fuck Trump. All right? This is what they lack.
Yeah.
This is what they lacked with Hillary. So people say, well, Hillary had classified documents on the email server. It's like, she actually did, yes. However, Hillary never said, I know that I have the documents. I know that I have them long after the point in time in which I should have them. I know that that they actually are classified, and I'm going to share them around. Hillary was never stupid enough to just say all of those things.
But then again, Hillary isn't Trump. Like, say what you will about Hillary. I mean, she is a pretty evil woman by most.
Oh, she is. She's terrible. Yes.
Yeah, but she's probably not that stupid.
Yeah. Like, this is actually stupid, right? This is actually
Like,
stupid.
you can't even make the argument that he declassified it in his mind
Yeah.
at this point anymore.
Yeah,
when
because he said I could have declassified it. Yeah.
yes, what he said, I could have declassified this. I shouldn't be showing you this, but I'm showing you this anyways because I'm Trump.
Because I'm Trump. Okay, hold on. So, someone, just wait a second. So, someone says, hold on. Dev, his acts of declassification are to make sure other people can have them. He himself doesn't need to declassify his own personal records. Okay, so, a plan of attack that was prepared for him by the Department of Defense is not a Trump personal record, Shaker Silver. This is the property of the U.S. government, okay? It's not a personal record.
It's also classified.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, so basically he held a document that was classified, that he knew that was still classified, so he knew he couldn't have it anymore. And he knew that everyone else around him shouldn't see it, and he showed it to them. So, like, this is actually the silver bullet, right? Like, by the way, as long as this audio recording is true, which they'll play it during the trial. If it doesn't actually exist, like, that's huge. If the audio recording doesn't actually exist, that's huge. But it probably exists, to be honest. They don't tend to put things like this in indictments without, the evidence being real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if it is deep faked, I'm pretty sure there's ways forensics could figure it out.
Yeah, exactly right. But so basically, like, everyone's mad about Hillary getting let off of the email server thing, and fair enough, right?
Fair.
But here's the thing: when Hillary was being interviewed, remember, she was like, "Did you wipe the server?" And then Hillary replied, "What do you mean, like with a cloth?" Like, she was playing dumb, obviously, right? She was being stupid, but that's how you don't get caught on tape saying ridiculous shit like this. Like, imagine if Hillary was just like, "Oh yeah, I knew that it was I had all this classified shit. I just kept it." Like, of course she's not going to fucking say that, like, in an official proceeding, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's what you're supposed to do when you're being under investigation.
Yeah.
You're just supposed to, play dumb, act like you don't know what you're doing. You don't brag about it to people at a party. Like,
Yeah.
imagine if Hillary was at one of her fundraisers and was like, "Hey, you hear all this buzz about my emails?
Mhm.
Wow. Well,
Mhm.
And she holds up her phone.
Yeah.
And shows her rich donors.
Mhm.
These are the emails they're talking about.
So here we go. So the second bit of evidence. In August or September of 2021, at the Bedminster Club, Trump showed a representative of his political action committee who did not possess a security clearance a classified map related to a military operation and told the representative that he should not be showing it to the representative and that the representative should not get too close. So like this is like the clout chasing thing. He's like, look, I got this map. Don't look at it too close, but isn't it cool? Like, what the fuck, man? So these two events were based.
Hey kid, you want to see some classified documents?
These two events, at some point, the people involved in these events reported them to the FBI. So the FBI got wind of this, and they opened a criminal investigation into the unlawful retention of classified documents at Mar-A-Lago. A federal grand jury investigation began the next month. The grand jury issued a subpoena requiring Trump to turn over all documents with classification markings. So, this is the point at which the FBI gets wind of it. The grand jury contacts the person involved, like Mike Pence, like Biden, like Obama and Clinton and Bush. At some point, the government gets wind of it. In Mike Pence's case, it's because Mike Pence told them, right? But at some point, the government gets wind of it, and the government says, listen, give us the documents. And that's when you comply. If Trump just said, oh shit, dude, sorry, and gave them all back at this point in the story, he would be fine legally. They would not go after him, all right? Just like they don't go after anybody else. But Trump endeavored to obstruct the FBI and the grand jury and conceal his continued retention of classified documents. So this is where Trump actually starts going full retard.
Yeah. Although they might still go after him. But, he didn't do himself any favors.
No, he didn't.
When it comes to this regard.
Okay, so here's what Trump did.
He still had a way out at that point.
He did. He still had a way out, yes. So, firstly, he suggested that his attorney falsely represent to the FBI and the grand jury that Trump did not have any documents called for. So, just lie for me, guys. Just tell them that I don't have them. Okay. 2. Trump directed Waltine Nauta, who I think is one of his assistants, to move boxes of documents to conceal them from Trump's attorney, the FBI, and the grand jury. So Trump is telling his attorney to lie for him, saying, I don't have anything. And then Trump turns around and goes to his assistant and says, listen, hide the documents from the FBI and the grand jury and my own attorney. So, Trump's now, lying to his attorneys. So it's no wonder that they fucking abandoned him. So back here, Trump's lawyers have quit hours after the indictment. All right. So they pieced out one day after the indictment dropped. And it's like, no shit. Could Trump directly lie to them?
They're like, all right, I'm out.
Yeah, it's like, fuck this, dude. Okay. So, third point. He suggested that his attorneys hide or destroy the documents. Okay. He provided the FBI and the grand jury some of the documents called for, while claiming that he was cooperating fully. So this is where Trump gives them a few documents and says, "These are all of them, dude. Sorry," but that was a gambit. And then finally, he caused a certification to be submitted to the FBI and grand jury, falsely representing that all documents called for by the grand jury subpoena had been produced, while knowing that, in fact, not all such documents had been produced. So Trump told them, in writing, I gave you everything I have, while knowing that he didn't. like this is like actually this is like career ending for Trump. Like the other lawsuits are kind of like bullshit. This one is going to be the one that prevents Trump from actually running in 2024, I think.
Yeah, like I don't know. It's like we do have to remember that these are according to attorneys that could, but like, and it is
Well,
possible that they're trying to save their own skin.
So here's the thing.
These are
One,
accusations, and we do have to presume
yeah,
innocence.
they are accusations. We have to presume innocence, but this is a big oof of an accusation. And
Yeah,
yeah,
it is a pretty big accusation.
So for point C, yes, this came from his attorneys who quit, but this came from his attorneys who quit before they quit. This is before Trump had like fucked them over. So, okay. As a result of Trump's retention of classified documents after his presidency and his refusal to return them, hundreds of classified documents were not recovered by the United States government until 2022. So, let's see. On January 17th, Trump provided 15 boxes which contained 197 documents with classification markings. Okay. On June 3rd, in response to the grand jury subpoena, Trump's attorney provided to the FBI 38 more documents. On August 8th, the FBI recovered from Trump's office and a storage room at Mar-a-Lago 102 more documents. So, these two are normal. The last one is after Trump said, "I don't have any more," and also after Trump was moving documents around with his assistant Nauta. Okay.
So how do you feel about the people in chat saying it's a breach of attorney-client privilege for the lawyers to be announcing this?
I'm not sure how far that privilege extends. Like, does it extend if your client's doing something actually illegal? I don't think it does. Like, hold on. Let me look it up. Let's see. The attorney-client privilege. A client's right to refuse to disclose and to prevent any other person from disclosing confidential communications between the client and the attorney. Oh, okay. I wonder if... Just wait a second. When the privilege may not apply. The crime fraud exception. A client who consults an attorney for advice that will serve him in the commission of a fraud will have no help from the law. Okay. Right, so that probably applies here. It's like the fact that Trump was talking to attorneys about things that were illegal things that he wanted to do, means that attorney-client privilege doesn't really apply.
Fair enough. I can picture a scenario where a judge could say like the lawyers are complicit if they don't do something about it.
Mm-hmm.
That is a fair question to ask, though.
It is, though. Yes. Okay, let's keep going here because Trump's co-conspirator, defendant Nauta, was a member of the United States Navy, stationed as a valet in the White House during Trump's presidency. Beginning in August of 2021, Nauta became an executive assistant in the office of Donald J. Trump and served as Trump's personal aide, or his body man. Nauta reported to Trump, worked closely with Trump, and traveled with Trump. Okay, this is the Mar-A-Lago Club. We all know what that's all about. Mar-A-Lago Club hosted more than 150 social events while the documents were there. The United States Secret Service provided protection services to Trump and his family after he left office, including at Mar-a-Lago, but it was not responsible for the protection of Trump's boxes or their contents. Trump did not inform the Secret Service that he was storing boxes containing classified documents. Okay. Sorry, go on.
When you said they held 150 public events at Mar-A-Lago,
Mhm.
all the documents were there. Does that mean the documents were just on a stage while people were sipping wine and
I think they're probably
talking
like
shit while in a ballroom?
I have to assume they were in like a room behind like a closed door with like, you know, like a doorknob lock or something, like nothing crazy, right?
You would hope.
You would hope,
But
yeah.
in terms of people sipping wine and discussing business while an event is holding on, maybe a wedding, and as
Yeah.
just documents on a stage going.
Or there's like there's like 3 rooms backstage, and like one of them is like the dressing room, and then one of them is just like where like props or something, and like what's the third one? Oh, we just have that one locked, and like behind there's just documents. Shit like that, right? Where
Oh,
it's just
well.
like, okay. Let's see. National security information is information owned by, produced for, and under the control of the United States government. All right, executive orders, top secret, secret, and confidential. These are the 3 classification levels. Okay, got it. All right. There's a classification no foreign, which means not releasable for foreign nationals. It can only go to United States persons. Okay. Sensitive, SCI, SAP, special access programs. Okay, this is just the explanation of how the classification system works, and to point out that Trump was not authorized to possess or retain classified documents. Okay. So, the executive branch departments and agencies whose classified documents Trump retained after his presidency. Let's see. Trump received intelligence briefings from high-level U.S. government officials, including briefings from the Director of Central Intelligence Agency, the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, senior White House officials, and a designated briefer. He regularly received a collection of classified intelligence from the United States intelligence community, known as the President's Daily Brief. Their mission was to collect, analyze, deliver foreign intelligence and counterintelligence information to America's leaders. Okay. The USIC consisted of United States executive branch departments and agencies responsible for the... Okay, yep. And apparently Trump retained classified documents originated by or implicating the equities of multiple USIC members. Let's see. So, he had documents from the CIA, Department of Defense, the National Security Agency, the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, the National Reconnaissance Office, the Department of Energy, the Department of State and Bureau of Intelligence and Research. Okay, let's see. And here's Trump's public statements on the documents. Oh, God. On August 18th, 2016, Trump stated, "In my administration, I'm going to enforce all laws concerning the protection of classified information. No one will be above the law." All right?
Doofies.
That sounds pretty good.
Doofies.
That sounds pretty good, dude. Dude, Trump is like a fucking... He feels like he's a child sometimes, dude. Just like running around, you know? Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
So Brock says, does Dev not understand the difference between evidence and accusations? Yes, these are accusations, yes. They are very serious accusations. And we have to see how it plays out in court. It could be the case that it comes out in court and Trump's completely innocent. Who knows, right? Who knows? But these, if the accusations are true as written, it's pretty serious and deserving of further investigation, obviously. Okay, so.
It's important to know and remember that these are, like, as you said, accusations, innocent to proven guilty, all that.
Yep.
We have to make sure that they're real, that they're proven in court.
Yep.
But they are pretty spicy accusations.
They are.
And they're worth talking about.
Yeah, you can't like necessarily be political about this. You can't be like, oh, well, because Trump is my guy, I'm going to be completely okay with him doing this sort of thing, you know? And in fact, chat, if you're pro-Trump in the chat, I want you to tell me, if they actually came out and had like ironclad evidence that Trump was actually guilty, should he be let free? Yes or no? You know, it's...
No, Trump should be above the law.
Yeah, the obvious is that he should not be let free. Obviously, right? Okay, so September 16th, September 6th, 2016. We also need to fight this battle by collecting intelligence and protecting our classified secrets. You can't have someone in the Oval Office who doesn't understand the meaning of the word confidential or classified. Okay. No. Yes. No. Yes. Wow. The chat's like fucking split. No, listen. If Trump's actually guilty, he should actually have the book thrown at him. Simple as. If you disagree, then you're just a partisan. Yeah.
No, Bev, Trump is the God Emperor for life.
Hold on.
He is above the law. He will always be above the law.
So your mother says it's not a crime that the POTUS can be guilty of. He's not the POTUS anymore, buddy. That's the point. Okay. So September 7th, 2016, one of the first things you must do is enforce all classification. We also need the best protection of classified information. Service members here in North Carolina risk their lives to acquire classified intelligence to protect our country. Okay. He says, as the head of the executive branch and commander-in-chief, I have a unique constitutional responsibility to protect the nation's classified information, including by controlling access to it. All right, so basically Trump has a series of statements of wanting to be tough on the handling of classified information. Okay. All right. And then here's Trump's retention afterwards. Yep. In January 2021, as they were preparing to leave the White House, Trump and his White House staff, including Nauta, packed items, including some of Trump's boxes. Trump was personally involved in the process. Trump caused his boxes containing hundreds of these classified documents to go to Mar-A-Lago. Yep. They were stored in the white and gold ballroom. And in fact, there was a photograph, which we already saw. They were stored to the business center at the Mar-A-Lago Club. All right. On April 5th, 2021, an employee of the office of Donald J. Trump texted another employee of that office to ask whether Trump's boxes could be moved out of the business center to make room for staff to use it as an office. Trump employee 2 replied, "Whoa! Okay, so POTUS specifically asked Walt for those boxes to be in the business center because they are his papers." Then here's the text, okay. Trump employee 2, "We can definitely make it work if we move the papers into the lake room." Trump employee 1, "There is still a little room in the shower where his other stuff is. Is it only his papers he cares about? There's some other stuff in there that are not papers. Could that go into storage? Or does he want everything on the property?" 2, "Yes, everything that is not the Beautiful Mind paper boxes can definitely go to storage." Okay, so he has 2 random guys moving around classified documents around Mar-A-Lago. It's like, okay. That's like, dude, like nothing happened obviously with these guys, but it's still just kind of funny that like these 2 random doofuses are doing this, you know?
Tweedledum and Tweedledee.
Yep. Zatak says irrelevant text. No, they're not, because this shows that for this period of time during this move, the classified documents were in the possession of 2 guys who didn't have clearance, which, by the way, is bad. That's not a good thing. And there's the documents in the bathroom. We already saw that picture. All right. The hallway leading to the storage room could be reached from multiple outside entrances, including one accessible from the Mar-A-Lago Club pool patio through a doorway that was often kept open. The storage room was near the liquor supply closet, the linen room, the lock shop, and various other rooms. So yeah, basically these documents were not adequately kept protected. Hold on. The documents are no longer classified, Devitt. Yes, they were, Shaker Silver. You were wrong about that. If Trump let them have the boxes, then they're thus declassified at that point. No, they're not. Oh, zero fucks. That means he broke the law because he didn't declassify them. Listen, he didn't declassify them. Do you understand? He didn't declassify them. How many more times do you want to hear it? He didn't declassify them. I'm yelling into the mic. Okay. He
declassified in a quantum sense. All right.
He declassified them by giving them to others. No, he didn't, because this happened after he wasn't president anymore. He wasn't he couldn't declassify them. He's not president anymore at this point, guys. Yes, he did. There is no proof. Okay, there is no bureaucratic mechanism for the president to declassify things. No, but he has to at least tell somebody that he did. You know what I mean? He has to at least be like, yo, this is declassified. So that people know. You can't just like psychically declassify them in your fucking head and then they're declassified and that's how it works. No. Did he move the boxes there himself? Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Okay, hold on. Chat. I want you guys to make this clear. So are you saying that Trump is still president, okay? It's the middle of the night. Trump loads a bunch of classified documents into a box, okay? He doesn't tell anyone. There's no other person there. He takes this box of documents. They all still say classified on them. He doesn't change the documents in any way. He doesn't leave a memo for anybody. He doesn't tell anybody. He holds this box of documents. He thinks to himself, these are now declassified. He then carries these documents off-site to Mar-A-Lago. And nobody knows that they're there. And nobody knows if they've been declassified or not. And Trump simply did it in his head and moved them. And that counts as declassification? Is that your argument? If you say yes to this, you're
Immediate yeses.
like that's retarded. Because how the fuck is anybody supposed to know? Yes, literally. That's stupid. That's actually retarded. Yep. Hey, Jin Django. Thanks very much, man. Thanks for the drawings, dude. So General John says, yes, Trump committed a crime. I also don't care. See, at least you're like, I think that's stupid, but you're at least willing to giga chat it, right? It's like, yes,
Yeah,
he's the emperor.
That's respectable.
$5 from Ian. Thanks very much, man. I need to
Silly, but
yeah. I need to draw your chat members, those special Ed helmet wearers, banging their head against the floor wall every time they spurg out like this. Thanks, man. Appreciated. Wait a second. Okay. Right now, Deb, you're arguing that Congress and others are supposed to have power over the president. What I'm actually arguing is that there is one reasonable limit on the president's power to declassify documents. And that limit is you have to fucking tell someone that you're doing it so that other people know. Otherwise, like you literally have like a Schrodinger's cat situation where every document is in like a quantum state of being classified or declassified, depending on whether and like where the president's mind is at that day. Like it's stupid. It's just fucking dumb, right? Like you have to have told someone else that this is declassified now, or else everyone is going to act like they're not. And also, that opens the door such that every president can say, oh yeah, I actually declassified that. Like proactively, right? Like imagine if Jimmy Carter stepped out right now and said, oh yeah, so in my mind, I declassified everything back when I was president. Or like Bill Clinton comes out. In my mind, I declassified everything. I didn't tell you guys, but now that I've told you, you have to actually treat everything as if it were declassified back then because it was. Like it's so stupid. It's so dumb. That's ridiculous. Oh, virus defender. Shut the fuck up. Go away, virus protection. I already feel like I'm being virused in this conversation. Anyway. So Trump moved the boxes around. There's the storage room. There are pictures in the storage room. All right. Yep. Now to found that several of Trump's boxes had fallen and their contents spilled onto the floor of the storage room. Okay. They found a document talking about Five Eyes intelligence with Australia, Canada, New Zealand, United Kingdom, and United States. Now to attach 2 photographs of the spill. Okay. Let's see. Quantum documents. Dev, just take the L and stop embarrassing yourself. What L? I'm correct. If you actually think that's, you're like, you have to be retarded. Okay. Anyway. So, the Bedminster Club was also not an authorized storage for the storage, possession, review, display, or discussion of document. Okay, more, okay, hold on. In July 2021, he was no longer president. Trump gave an interview to a writer and a publisher in connection with a then forthcoming book. Okay, this is the actual discussion of what happened with that, with this instance up here. Instance, where is it? Where the fuck is it? Oh, further up. This one here. We're going to get into the details of what happened here in 6A. Okay. Where is it? Where's Bedminster? Go back. God, I lost my fucking place. Here it is. Okay. So.
Yay, selfish.
Here we go. Trump says, well, with the senior military official, let me see that. I'll show you an example. He said that I wanted to attack country A. Isn't it amazing? I have a big pile of papers. This thing just came up. Look, this was him. They presented me this. This is off the record, but they presented me this. This was him. This was the Defense Department and him. The writer says, wow. Trump says, we looked at some. This was him. This wasn't done by me. This was him. All sorts of stuff. Pages long. Look. The staffer says, Trump says, wait a minute. Let's see here. The staffer laughs and says, yeah. Trump says, I just found this. Isn't it amazing? This totally wins my case, you know. Staffer says, Trump says, except it's like highly confidential. The staffer laughs. Trump says, secret. This is secret information. Look at this. You attack and then it's cut off. By the way, isn't that incredible? Yeah. I was just thinking, because we were talking about it, and you know, he said he wanted to attack country A, and this was done by the military and given to me. I think we can probably, right? Hold on. The staffer says, I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to try to, Trump says, declassify it. So it's not declassified at this point. Staffer says, figure out, yeah. Then Trump says, see, as president, I could have declassified it. The staffer laughs and says, yeah. Trump says, now I can't, you know, but this is a secret. The staffer laughs and says, now we have a problem. So, like, this is
Well,
the
even Trump himself acknowledges that he can't just declassify it in his head.
Yeah. Hold on. This is Trump acknowledging that even if he could just declassify it mentally in his head and have it count, this is him acknowledging that he didn't do that. So he didn't even mentally declassify it. Like, this is Trump admitting that he knows what he's doing is wrong and he doesn't care. And then,
Well, let's see. He's just got a pearl. He can do whatever he wants.
like, it's.
Well, why are you being difficult about this, Div? He can.
He can just do whatever he
declassify
wants.
things even if he says he hasn't declassified it. Oh, why are you being such a Trump derangement syndrome?
It's so stupid.
Clinton tard. Yeah.
It's so stupid.
What's wrong with you?
Hold on. Hunter Biden left documents unsupervised with a drug addict in a garage sitting in an old car, but it's okay when Democrats do it. Listen, if you throw the book at Hunter Biden for that, I'd be fine with that too. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a shit about Hunter Biden. He's a fucking loser. Okay. So, of course, this is Trump. This is Trump saying that it's an illegal process to show the press documents. People that gave out information to the press should be ashamed of themselves, really ashamed. And then, of course, the funny part here is that because Trump did the exact same thing to the press. Okay, got it. Like, LOL, Trump. More boxes. All right. Let's keep going here. Naoto's moving more boxes around, checking on the boxes. Okay. He wants new covers for the boxes. All right, they gathered 15 boxes, loaded them in Naoto's car, took them to a commercial truck for delivery. Okay. So all these boxes that were being moved around, the FBI determined that they contained 197 documents with classification markings. 98 were marked secret, 30 were marked top secret, and the remainder were confidential. Okay. All right, so the texts of Trump Attorney 1 and Trump Attorney 2 were subpoenaed. May 11th subpoena. Okay. Let's see. Trump, in sum and substance, made the following statements, among others, as memorialized by the conversations with Trump Attorney 1. Trump said, I don't want anybody looking. I don't want anybody looking through my boxes. I really don't. I don't want you looking through my boxes. Well, what happens if you just don't respond at all or don't play ball with them? Wouldn't it be better if you just told them you don't have anything here? Well, look, isn't it better if there are no documents? So Trump also said, my attorney, he was great. He did a great job. You know what? He said it. He said that it was him, that he was the one who deleted all of her emails, the 30,000 emails, because they basically dealt with her scheduling and her going to the gym and her having beauty appointments. And he was great. And so she didn't get in any trouble because he said that he was the one who deleted them. So this is Trump kind of admitting to the game in private on text. So it's like, dude, don't text this shit either. Like, fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the type of shit Walter White would make on season 1.
All right. Is there anything else juicy in here about the boxes? The boxes. He used clear duct tape to seal the boxes. Okay. I'm kind of skimming the rest of it here. Trump Attorney 3 did not perform a search of the boxes, but had been provided information. Okay. These statements were false because, among other reasons, Trump had directed now to move boxes from before 2021's June. Okay, so yeah, this is where basically Trump Attorney 3 said to the government that there was a diligent search conducted of boxes that were moved from White House to Florida. This search was conducted after the receipt of the subpoena in order to locate any and all documents that were responsive to the subpoena and any and all responsive documents accompanying the certification. But these were false statements because Trump had directed Nauta to move the boxes around so that she couldn't actually find anything. So this is Trump lying to his own fucking attorney, dude.
It's probably not the best thing to do.
Yep. The court authorized search of the Mar-A-Lago club. All right. We found some more stuff. Yep, remember this? Okay. Let's see. This is a list of all the documents, I think, that Trump had that he shouldn't have had. Okay. Here's the list.
The top secret furry report. Let's get into it.
Yep, top secret, top secret, top secret. Yeah. 31 documents. All in violation. And this was like... So, it's like I said, normally you just give these 31 documents back, but because Trump gave them the roundabout, and they have evidence of him, like, texting to other attorneys saying, like, oh, just tell him we don't have him and all this stuff. This is why they're going after him, is for these 31 that he specifically tried to hide. And I don't even know why he wanted to hide them. Maybe it was just like an ego thing. You know, it's just like, you know... Like Trump does seem kind of like he does seem a bit like megalomaniacal, you know. So the fact that he might just want to hold on to them because it makes him feel like he has a big dick. That sounds like something that Trump would do, you know.
It's possible. There's also the factor that, like, the documents could be used for leverage, for blackmail, or potentially, but. Those are like the potential motives that he could have for hiding them.
Yeah.
But we don't know for sure.
So Adam's first black friend for $5. Thank you. Hey, Dev, you think the Rittenhouse indictment read like he was guilty as sin? Of course it did. This is the thing, is that, like, it could come out in trial that all of this is just trumped up nonsense. Not to, you know, that wasn't a pun. You know what I mean? Like, it could all just be fake. And we'll see, right? It'll go to court and we'll see. So, like, you have to understand that as an indictment, this is the point of view of the prosecution, not necessarily the truth. So Trump will have, like, a counterclaim, and they'll battle it out in court, as is his right, and he does have the right to be treated as innocent until proven guilty. So that's how the government should treat him, and that's how he is being treated. But I'm not part of the government. I'm not part of the legal proceedings. I can look at what's in front of me and comment on it. And if it did happen as stated in the indictment. Like, Trump is fucked. Like, he's so fucking guilty, right? But they have to prove it.
Yeah.
They have to prove it. That's the issue. Is that
Yep.
like, as an outsider looking in, this does not look good for him. Yeah.
It is important to remember that these are the indictment statements. Like, we don't know for a fact yet.
Hold on. Like someone in the chat
the
saying,
argument that the prosecutor is making, and we will hear the counter argument from Trump's team, which we don't know what it's gonna be like, because he doesn't even have a team at the moment. Like, his lawyers all quit. So.
Mhm.
Ah,
So here's the thing. All right. So, like, people are saying the process is the punishment, and he's running for president. Yeah. See, if the process is the punishment, he shouldn't have been texting. Like, he should have been texting this shit. He shouldn't have been caught on recording saying shit like this. All right. The process was also the punishment for Hillary, and she still didn't get charged because she wasn't dumb enough to have evidence on her in the same way, right? Obviously. So, like, Sir Garfield here says he isn't being treated fairly. What do you fucking mean? It's not like they're not just arresting him and throwing him in jail without trial. Like, he still has his trial date. They have some evidence. They put together the indictment. Like, they're doing the legal process properly. What do you mean he isn't being treated fairly? Like, that's actually some fucking cope. He isn't being treated fairly. Hold on. Zero fucks. It's not that I'm believing the indictment's claims. What I'm saying is the indictment is reason enough to start the legal proceedings. In the legal proceedings, Trump will have a chance to respond to the indictment. If they had no proof, there would be no indictment. That's the fucking point. Yeah, Shaker Silver says he shouldn't have given them ammo to punish him. Yes! Literally, yes. If Trump didn't want to get slapped with a fucking lawsuit of doing, he shouldn't have broken the fucking law. Simple as that. Like, Christ.
it really seems like a case of just a civilian going into politics because, for whatever reason, and then just realizing, oof, there's some shit going on that you gotta take care of. This is annoying.
Mm-hmm.
This fucking sucks.
Yep. Oh, £2 from Alfonso. Thank you. Chad is getting pissed that Dev isn't just calling BS. Pretty much, yeah. So here's the actual charge, okay? Donald J. Trump and Waltine Nauta did knowingly combine, conspire, confederate, and agree with each other and with others, known and unknown to the grand jury, to engage in misleading conduct towards another person and corruptly persuade another person to withhold a record, document, and other object from an official proceeding, in violation of whatever law that is, and to corruptly conceal a record, document, an object from official proceeding. Okay. The purpose of the conspiracy was for Trump to keep classified documents he had taken with him from the White House and to hide and conceal them from a federal grand jury. The manner and means of the conspiracy. They suggested that Trump's attorney, 1, falsely represent to the FBI and grand jury that Trump did not have documents, moving boxes of documents to conceal them from the attorney, suggesting that Trump attorney 1 hide or destroy the documents, providing to the FBI and grand jury just some of the documents, creating a false certification that he had given all the documents up, and making false and misleading statements to the FBI. Okay. So there we go. So both Donald J. Trump and Waltine Nauta are getting fucked. Here's all the counts. Here's all the fucking counts, all right? This was counts 1 to 33, I think. Count 32. So count 33, knowingly engage in misleading conduct to another person. Okay. Corrupt and persuade, yep. Count 34, corruptly concealing a document or record. Count 35, concealing a document in a federal investigation. Count 36, scheme to conceal. Count 37, false statements, representations. So there's all the counts. No, count 38, false statements, representations. Okay. Then here's some more false statements. Yep. There it is. Felony counts, baby. Let's see. What are the actual penalty sheets? Max 10 years. Supervised release 3 years. $252,000 fine. 20 years. $250,000. 20 years. 20 years. 20 years. 5 years. 5 years. Jesus. There's a lot of years in here, man. Now, that's the max penalty. Who knows how high it gets, right? Like, who knows what they'll actually do? No. Dev, are you mentally retarded? You just read that they aren't charging anything about declassified. No, you retard. Look, okay, these counts, false statements. Okay, 37, scheme to conceal. 36, all right? 35, concealing the document of federal organization. Okay, yes. Once you get up to count 32, that's one count for each fucking document. Look, here's all the counts for each document. Counts 1 to 31, willful retention of national defense information. And here's the 31 documents that are being kept. God. Brock, you're a fucking retard, dude. You just read that they are
basically nailing it on the head, though. Like, people are like furious at you because you're just not taking everything like Trump says as matter of fact and throwing everything the prosecutor says out the window. Like,
exactly. So yeah,
we can reasonably assume that the texts and the calls are real and the recordings are real.
Yeah.
Because otherwise they would just be lying to the court and they would be themselves committing a crime. So it's fair to take those calls and text into consideration because they're probably real. Like,
they're probably
otherwise
real.
They wouldn't be brought up into the indictment.
Yeah. Like, because here's the thing. The indictment eventually goes to court. And eventually the prosecutors have to show these calls and texts in court. And then they have to like bring in experts to explain why the texts are real. They'll have like a cell phone guy there. It's like, okay, here's how the cell phone service works. Here's why these are real texts. We'll look at the phone. Like, when you hit court, you actually get into the nitty gritty of the actual legality of all this, and like the authenticity of this evidence, right? That's the point of court, is to prove the authenticity of what they have here. So yes, it could be the case that all the evidence just doesn't exist. There actually is no phone call recording. There is no text. It's all bullshit. That could be the case. What that means is when the prosecution gets to trial, they will be fucking eviscerated. So, like, prosecutors tend not to destroy themselves by doing this. They tend to have at least some evidence backing this shit up, right?
Yeah, this is pretty huge, and like, it's pretty unlikely that they would just be pulling shit out their ass.
Yeah.
I mean, in this world, anything is possible, but it's like pretty much 99%. Like,
yeah,
there's merit to, like, at the very least, the texts and the calls being real, because otherwise they wouldn't be in the prosecuting papers. Like, the accusations and everything else, like, and what the prosecutors are saying Trump's intents were, there's room for arguments on those areas.
Exactly. Yes.
They're not in Trump's head. They're not Trump. They don't actually know what he was actually thinking and how much he actually knew. And for them to prove without a shadow of a doubt, that's up to them to prove in court that.
Exactly. So it's going to be a situation where, like, it's pretty clear that the phone call and the texts, they're probably real. They'll come out in court. But the interpretation of what those pieces of evidence mean, that is what you're going to fight over. So the indictment shows one interpretation of Trump being fucked. Trump's going to have his opportunity to present an alternative interpretation. In my opinion, that kind of evidence, there's not much wiggle room there. Like, it's pretty oof, I gotta say. Charlie, $5. We vote for a turd sandwich or a Kurt Cobain blowout. This won't change things. There should be punishment. Document it. But the people will still vote for Donald Trump. I wonder what happens. Like, so Zero Fuck says Trump just needs to look bad until the election is done. Then he probably shouldn't have made himself look bad. He probably shouldn't have made himself be fucking look bad, dude. So Brock Sampson
Yeah,
says,
like assuming these calls and texts are real,
yeah,
like he pretty much just shot himself in the foot like
yep,
multiple times.
yeah, pretty much, yeah. Brock says, Dev, how many times do you need to be lied to by these people before you start to ponder that maybe, just maybe, they're fucking lying to remove Trump? So you're saying that, like, these 31 documents didn't actually exist? Is that what you're saying? That he didn't actually have them, they were planted by the FBI? That they were actually declassified and they're just hiding it? Are you saying that? Like, what are you fucking saying here, dude? Like, what the fuck? It's funny because like the documents were planted by the FBI. Also, Trump didn't have documents. Also, Trump declassified the documents he had. It's like these stories are mutually exclusive, dude. Okay, so Trump did in fact get a chance to present his point of view on this whole thing. Do you want to see it?
Let's go.
Let's go.
Share Orange Man speak.
Here's Trump saying, I had every right to have the documents. Let's see Trump's position on this, okay? USA! USA!
US.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you. It's a great honor to have you here. And today we witness the most evil and heinous abuse of power in the history of our country. Very sad thing to watch. A corrupt sitting president had his top political opponent arrested on fake and fabricated charges of which he and numerous other presidents would be guilty. Right in the middle of a presidential election.
Real quick, of which he and other presidents would be guilty. That's why Biden gave the documents back. Like, that was the point of me showing off those other articles where Mike Pence gave them back, Obama gave them back, Biden gave them back. Like, they would have been guilty, but they gave them back. Like, that's the difference, right?
Yepers.
In which he is losing very badly. This is called election interference and yet another attempt to rig and steal a presidential election. More importantly, it's a political persecution like something straight out of a fascist or a communist nation. This day will go down in infamy, and Joe Biden will forever be remembered as not only the most corrupt president in the history of our country, but perhaps even more importantly, the president who, together with a band of his closest thugs, misfits, and Marxists, tried to destroy American democracy.
We'll have to see. We'll have to see how the polls end up. We'll have to see. Hold on. So Biden was vice president. The vice president. Man, I earlier in the stream read off the National Documents Act of 1978, or whatever the fuck it was, where it said the vice president has the same powers and the same responsibilities. Come on, guys. Jesus Christ. Chill the fuck out. All right. Okay, so Brock Sampson says the documents were not classified, Dev. Simple as. Show me that. I want to see it. The entire chat just keeps fucking saying this. Show me. Show me Trump declassifying the documents. Do it.
I have seen some people tell you to check your DMs. Like, have you seen anything?
I saw one guy.
I
Sent me a DM. Doesn't seem to be anything about the documents. Oh, let's see here. Well, about the documents being declassified. Oh, it's an opinion piece from the Wall Street Journal. Trump's boxes and Clinton's sock drawer. A president chooses what records to return or keep, and the National Archives can't do anything about it. Okay, that's an opinion piece. Maybe there's something in here. Let's see. Let's see. Although the indictment against Donald Trump doesn't cite the Presidential Records Act, the charges are predicated on the law. The indictment came about only because the government thought Mr. Trump took records that didn't belong to him, and the government raided his house to find the records. This should never have happened. The Presidential Records Act allows the president to decide what records to return and what records to keep at the end of his presidency. And the National Archives and Records Administration can't do anything about it. I know because I'm the lawyer who lost the Clinton sock drawer case. Okay. Let's see. What happened here? 79 meetings with Bill Clinton between January 20th, 2023, January 20th, 2001. The audio tapes referred not only Clinton's thoughts on the issues he faced while president, but also some actual events. Okay. Clinton calls several U.S. senators and tries to persuade them to vote against an amendment. Okay. Clinton's side of a phone call with Representative William Natcher, Vice President, explained his reasoning. Okay, these are all things that Bill Clinton did. Okay. The White House made the audio tapes. Nancy Heinrich, the then director of Oval Office Operations, set up meetings. Did that make them presidential records? The National Archives and Records Administration was never given the recordings. Mr. Clinton hid them in his sock drawer to keep them away from public and took them with him when he left office. Okay. So the difference is, in this case, as far as I understand, is that these weren't classified. All right? These were various recordings that Bill Clinton took of his conversations with others. And they didn't have a classified stamp on them ever, right? So Clinton's argument was probably, these are my conversations, therefore they're my personal property, and I'm taking them with me. And so he did, right? So they weren't subject. They were Mr. Clinton's personal records. Okay, fair enough. Mr. Clinton's personal records and not subject to the Presidential Records Act. Okay, that's a good argument. That's actually a very good argument. But the difference is, thanks for sending me this. You're still wrong, because the guy who sent me this is against me on this. You're still wrong, but thank you for sending it to me. Because the difference is, if you go back here, top secret, containing White House intelligence briefing related to various foreign countries. This isn't a personal conversation. This is a top secret document that wasn't declassified. All right? That's the difference. In the Clinton case that you gave me, we're talking about never classified personal conversations. In this case, we're talking about classified documents relating to intelligence. Not the same situation. When a document gets declassified, does the classified stamp on a piece of paper just disappear? No, because what Trump has to do is stamp them with the declassified stamp. That's the point of what I said earlier. He has to tell somebody. He has to tell somebody that they are declassified if they have already been classified. That's why it can't be fucking psychically done. All right, Jesus Christ, we're going to watch this. I like how I get more information and I'm still correct.
But they will fail and we will win bigger and better than ever before.
I wonder what happens if Trump wins the election, but he still goes to jail. Like, what a weird.
The United States under the Espionage Act of 1917 wasn't meant for this. An act for a crime so heinous that only the death penalty would do, and threatening me with 400 years in prison.
Was he charged with the Espionage Act specifically? Hold on.
I believe that might be the case. Or it might be one of the arguments that.
Oh yes, that's right. No. Yeah, the 31 documents charges, were they the Espionage Acts? It might be. That yeah, okay. That's what yeah. Okay, so the 31 documents, that's all Espionage Act charges, but the rest of them, the ones that are 32 to, was it 39 or 38, those are all different acts. Okay, understood.
For possessing my own presidential papers, which just about every other president has done, is one of the most outrageous and vicious legal theories ever put forward in an American court of law. The Espionage Act has been used to go after traitors and spies. It has nothing to do with a former president legally keeping his own documents. As president, the law that applies to this case is not the Espionage Act, but very simply the Presidential Records Act, which is not even mentioned in this ridiculous 44-page indictment. Under the Presidential Records Act, which is civil, not criminal, I had every right to...
Wasn't it? Hold on. Maybe it wasn't. You just scroll down through... Yeah. Conspiracy to obstruct justice. No, you're right. Withholding a document or record. Was this part of it? Hold on. Presidential Records Act. Okay. No. So it does seem to be the case Like these are still criminal charges that are legit, like that can be filed against him. I wonder if Trump. I wonder if Trump will actually talk about these charges. I wonder if he'll actually talk about them.
I think the Presidential Actions Act does allow the president to declassify, but again, it has to be while he's the incumbent president.
Mm-hmm. Hold on. No. Okay. Shaker Silver is saying if he takes those records as personal, then they lose classification. No! I've said this all stream. That's not true. He has to tell somebody that he's declassifying them. All right? He has to tell someone. That's the key point that this whole thing revolves around, is that they don't just become declassified because he took them. He has to tell someone. Define tell. He has to tell somebody else in the office. He has to leave a note. He has to write something on the fucking piece of paper. Like, there has to be some record of him declassifying them. Whatever the record is, some method so it didn't just remain in his fucking head. Tell can be nonverbal. Okay, it could be written down, but he didn't write it down. Oh my God. Listen, simply walking out of the office with the documents does not declassify them. If you think that, like, that's actually a stupid opinion. That's actually moronic, okay?
To have these documents.
Yeah. Like, it could be the case if you find a place in the law that says it. Like, if it has to say something like the president taking the documents out is by in itself declassifying it, which probably isn't the case.
If it isn't the case, then they wouldn't go after every other president to get records back. Like, it's dumb. Okay.
Yeah, like if it's like
okay. Go on.
If the president taking the document out is enough for it to declassify it, why would they ask for it from Clinton or Obama or Bush? You know.
Exactly. Telling by nonverbal, like an action of physically removing them. No, physically removing them doesn't count. No. Here we go.
Is laid out in the most important case ever on this subject, known as the Clinton socks case. You know what that means? After leaving the White House, Bill Clinton kept 79 audio tapes in his sock drawer.
Not classified, Trump. Not the same.
U.S. military involvement in Haiti, discussions of U.S. foreign policy, both defense and offense, against Cuba, recordings of President.
Okay, how do you know if it doesn't count? It is technically an open legal question. Okay, true. However, any single person with a brain, if given this case to judge, and looking at the downstream effects, they will understand that very clearly, if you have a system where someone can just psychically declassify documents and not tell anyone, that would break everything. There is no way any judge is going to rule that that's the case. All right? You know what? You can make me eat my words if I'm wrong later on, but there's no fucking way.
President Clinton's conversations with all of the many foreign leaders at the time. Think of that. Sensitive facts about trade negotiations taken from presidential briefings. Discussions with the Secretary of State about conflict in Bosnia and much, much more. Very big stuff. Not only was Bill Clinton never even considered for criminal prosecution based on the tapes he took, but when he was sued for them, he won the case. Judge Amy Berman Jackson's decision states, under the statutory scheme established by the Presidential Records Act, the decision to segregate personal materials from presidential records is made by the president during the president's term.
During the term.
And in the
okay. Once again, Dev is arguing that people. Once again, Dev is arguing that people under the president should have power over what is classified or not over the president. What I'm arguing is that For people under the president to behave properly around classified or non-classified documents, the president has to tell them somehow that they are actually classified or non-classified. So, if the president intends to declassify something, he must let other people know he has done so. Otherwise, like I said, you live in some weird Schrodinger's document world where everything is simultaneously classified or declassified based on presidential whims, which is retarded, and no reasonable person would ever say that that's how things should be.
President's sole discretion. You're surprised to hear that, aren't you? Any normal administration, even an opposing one, would consider that to be the end, but not the corrupt Biden administration. The SOX decision, as it's known, also states, quote, the National Archives and Records Administration, or NARA, does not have the authority to designate material as presidential records. They don't have the authority. NARA does not have the tapes in question, and NARA lacks any right, duty, or means to seize control of them. This is law. The president enjoys unconstrained authority to make decisions regarding the disposal of documents. That's unconstrained.
Thanks for the $5, Sean King. Who will win 2024? Trump the crook or Biden saying God the Queen? Fuck. You know, I wonder if DeSantis decided to run and because he thinks that Trump's actually going to get legally fucked and the Republicans need somebody. I wonder. Maybe.
That would be interesting.
make that-
Like, just two people completely without charisma running against each other, stumbling. over words.
Biden and DeSantis just like being derps. Yeah. Okay.
That decision. Neither the archivist nor Congress has the authority to veto the president's decision. The Presidential Records Act does not confer any mandatory or even discretionary authority on the archivist to classify records. Under the statute, this responsibility is left solely to the President of the United States. Think of that. That's the decision. Think of that. Now, just think of that. In other words, whatever documents a president decides to take with him, he has the right to do so. It's an absolute right. This is the law. And that is something that...
Okay, that is true, but they have to be declassified. Because if they are classified and you take them with you and you're no longer president anymore, then you can't have them at that point. Which is that's the like the little point that this whole thing hinges on, because people are saying they're automatically declassified when it takes them. It's like, well, doesn't seem to be the case.
people have now seen, and it couldn't be more clear. They ought to drop this case immediately because they're destroying the country. And this is why no other president, even those who kept far more documents than I, has ever been even investigated, let alone charged with a crime. Because the sham indictment put forward by the Biden administration included staged photographs of boxes at Mar-A-Lago. Many people have asked me why.
Staged?
I had these boxes.
Is
Why
Trump
did
saying
you
that
want them?
those are fake pictures?
The answer, in addition to having every right under the Presidential Records Act, is that these boxes were containing all types of personal belongings, many, many things, shirts and shoes and everything. As can be seen
gonna
in
speed
the
this up a little bit.
picture where someone, not me, I wonder who it might have been, dumped one of the very neatly arranged boxes all over the floor. They were full of newspapers, press clippings, thousands of pictures, thousands and thousands of White House pictures. The White House photographers, some are with us today. They took so many pictures and we saved all.
Is he claiming that they were
Well,
like... So hold on. Is he claiming that we saw one box tipped over and the text said that it
Yeah.
accidentally fell over? The text with Nauta said it accidentally fell over and he wants to pick it back up. Is he claiming that was staged? That photo was staged?
Yeah, like if the photo was staged, you probably wouldn't want to show that there's newspapers, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Band Geek says, Dev, previous presidents don't lose security clearance. They can see information they were already privy to. Partially true. They can't. Them seeing future information is based on. It's basically at the pleasure of the current president. Them seeing any new information. However, even though they have old information, they still can't share it around. That's the point. And that's what they're nicking Trump for, is the fact that he showed other people the documents that he had.
All of them, and they were in those boxes. Clothing, memorabilia, and much, much more. I hadn't had a chance to go through all the boxes. It's a long, tedious job. Takes a long time, which I was prepared to do, but I have a very busy life. I've had a very busy life. They make it more busy because you're always fighting. And under the Sox decision, there seemed to be no rush. I wasn't in a rush because that decision was a law. The other picture that was so vile, you remember that one? It was angry and corrupt, was the photo staged by the FBI. And those that raided Mar-A-Lago, they were putting documents all over the floor. Remember that famous picture? All over, said confidential, said presidential, said all sorts of things. And it was supposed to be there like it was that way when they raided. It wasn't that way. They put them there, took the picture, and released it illegally to the press. They took my medical records, my passport, my birth certificate, and apologized. They even brought a safecracker. This is a professional safecracker they brought into Mar-a-Lago. And they broke into my safe, and you know what they found? Nothing. There was nothing there. Nothing there.
Yeah. So
Why didn't you give the documents back then, dude? What the hell? When you were asked.
I like that they brought a safecracker there, but like they didn't need to do that, as documents are just on the bathroom floors.
Yeah, it's just pretty funny. Okay, let's keep going.
According to the Presidential Records Act, which was a big deal, I was supposed to negotiate with NARA, which is exactly what I was doing until Mar-a-Lago was raided by gun-toting FBI agents. I have security tapes of it. I gave them security tapes of everything. In a flagrant violation of the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution, which protects the right against unreasonable search and seizure. And Sebastian, you covered very well, I must say. Very well. I'm not the one who thinks I'm above the law. I'm the one that followed the law. I'm the only one. It's Joe Biden and his corrupt Department of Injustice who think they are above the law. Never before have the two standards of justice in our country been more starkly revealed. Joe Biden had troves of classified documents from his time as vice president and even as a senator, which was completely and totally illegal. In fact, other senators heard about it. Dick Durbin heard about it. You have to see his response. There's no way that's totally illegal. Took him as a senator out of a skiff. They were shocked when they found out. They actually thought it was impossible to do. Biden sent 1,850 boxes to the University of Delaware, making the search very, very difficult for anybody. And he refuses to give them up, and he refuses to let people even look at them. And then they say how he's behaving so nicely. Many of Biden's classified documents were in Chinatown, D.C., Chinatown, which is
China.
considering his family
China.
receives so much money from China. I wonder how many times the friends of ours from China review those documents. China.
So what the fuck is... Okay. What is the implication here that like Biden has documents in Chinatown and they're running down to like the local rat soup shop and handing them off to somebody who then like back alleys them to a Chinese official? Like, what the fuck is the implication there? It's funny, but like it's weird. It's like, okay.
You just can't trust those fucking wonton shops, you know? It can also just be Chinese governments.
Maybe.
Chinatown, D.C. Others were unsecured at his so-called Penn Biden Center in Washington, which paid Biden approximately $1 million a year, the money supposedly coming from China, and still other classified documents were strewn all over his garage floor, where his now famous Corvette is stored. He's so proud of that car. There was no security, and the door was left open most of the time. It was open. All of those classified documents, all of those documents strewn all over the floor, piled up like junk.
So, okay. Here, I need to think about this for a second, because Trump is describing the situation with Biden's classified documents that he shouldn't have in a very similar way as the indictment describes Trump's classified documents that he shouldn't have. So, and also Biden's the current president. So it's actually, okay, assume that he's talking about documents that he had from the vice president times, but also we saw that Biden gave those back and Trump didn't give them back. I feel like this part's just deflection. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like if you gave them back, it doesn't really matter that much that they were stored improperly as long as he gave them back and he no longer has it when
Yeah.
ask him about it.
Yeah. This was before he was president. Okay, Pirate Chan, but like, if Biden gave them back, then he is innocent. And if Biden is somehow guilty, what Trump is describing is the exact same thing that Trump himself has done, making Trump also guilty. Like, all right. Okay.
If he didn't give them back, they would have a case to prosecute him.
Biden as VP does not benefit from the Presidential Records Act. Hold on. Are you sure?
But didn't Pence also have documents? But
Yes,
he
yeah.
didn't get charged
Okay.
because he gave them back.
Presidential Records Act 1978. It establishes that vice presidential records are to be treated the same way as presidential records. Yes. Pence also had records. He also gave them back. Biden had records from he was VP. He gave them back. The issue is that Trump didn't give them back. That's why he's getting fucked. All right? Okay. Let's continue.
Unlike me, who had absolute declassification authority as president, Joe Biden as vice president had no authority to declassify and no right to possess the documents. He had no right. Instead of falling under the Presidential Records Act, Biden's actions fell under a much stricter Federal Records Act, which has very, very tough criminal penalties. Yet nothing happens to Crooked Joe. Nothing happened. Have you heard anything about the big search for his documents? No, only me. Most and famously of all, Hillary Clinton set up an illegal private server in her basement. You never heard this story.
The
With
email
deliberate intention
server.
of violating public information laws so she could hide her pay-for-play scandals at the Clinton foundations or whatever.
The issue with the Hillary Clinton server is that they couldn't ding her on intentionality. They couldn't get her saying, I knew that I was doing this illegal thing and I was actively hiding it from the cops and from the FBI and from the government. I was hiding it. I knew it. I knew that I had them. They couldn't get her saying that. It's actually quite unique in terms of government corruption that they actually got Trump saying that. That's what makes this different. That's why most politicians get away with it and Trump's not getting away with it, because Trump was actually dumb enough to say it in conversations that he knew what he had.
Yeah, like if he hadn't, those calls aren't real, and he hasn't actually admitted to doing stuff intentionally, and then they wouldn't have a case. They would get thrown out much similar to the way the Hillary one was did.
Yep. Oh my God, hold on. Intentionality doesn't matter, says Shaker Silver. Yes, it fucking does, dude. That's the whole point of motive. Isn't that mens rea? Hold on. Like, okay, just give me a second here. Fuck, Jesus Christ. Mens rea. In criminal law, mens rea, the guilty mind, that is Latin for the guilty mind, is the mental state of the crime committed, and the legal determination of a crime may depend on both a mental state and actus reus. Right. So murder requires mens rea, otherwise it's manslaughter or something. You have to know that you're committing a crime. That's part of the crime, is knowing that you're doing it. That's why it's a lesser crime when you don't have mens rea. That's why they couldn't get Hillary. Like,
Yeah.
oh my fucking God.
Intentionality matters all the time when it comes to law.
Arch says, Dev, you disappoint me so much. Arch, I'm correct. Let's keep watching this. Here we go.
Hillary stored vast quantities of classified and sensitive information on her illicit server. Some of it happened to leak. It leaked into Anthony Weiner's computer. Remember Anthony Weiner? Into his computer. You don't want to be on his computer. And all of it was illegal.
That's really funny.
Because thankfully,
That's really funny.
she was never president. She didn't have the powers to declassify. Thank you. Thank you. She didn't have the powers to declassify. It's a big difference. And neither did Joe. You know, Joe didn't have your mind. Have a drink. It's a little bit cooler than it was, but it's pretty hot out here. Thank you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Great birthday.
Wait, is this Trump's birthday? Oh my God.
Nice birthday, isn't it?
You're right. You're right.
I gotta be honest, I miss Trump. I miss the memes. He was always so funny.
Wonderful birthday. They were saying happy birthday.
There's nothing if not entertaining.
I was with Eric and Laura, the kids. Happy birthday, Grandpa. Happy. And I said, oh, great. I just got charged with, they won 400 years approximately. If you add them all up, a fake 400 years. Oh, thank you, darling. That's so nice. It's a wonderful birthday. Oh, we're going to make it into the greatest birthday of all. We'll make it into the greatest of all. When caught, Hillary then deleted and acid washed. Nobody does that because of the expense, but it's pretty conclusive. 33,000 emails in defiance of a congressional subpoena. Already launched. The subpoena was there, and she decided to delete, acid wash, and then smash and destroy her cell phones with a hammer. And then they say, I participated in obstruction? No, think of it. That's called obstruction. There's never been obstruction as grave as that. She did this in the face of everything, and yet nobody did anything about it. The FBI and the DOJ protected her, did not issue subpoenas, did not use a grand jury, did not execute search warrants, and then the corrupt head of the FBI, James Comey, declared no reasonable prosecutor would bring a case. Can you believe it? And that was just one of many items. Hillary Clinton broke the law, and she didn't get indicted. Joe Biden broke the law, and in many other ways we're finding out, and so far has not gotten indicted. I did everything right, and they indicted me. But you know,
I don't know.
A great example. And
See, the issue is that like when it comes to legal proceedings, it ultimately is down to what you could prove. So, for example, I personally think that Hillary Clinton was guilty. But proving it in court is a different matter, right? Because you have
Right.
people who are knowledgeable about the law, and they're kind of slippery. They know how to hide things. So proving Hillary Clinton was guilty in court was not going to happen, which is why she got off primarily. But she probably was guilty. Trump does not seem to be that smart of a man. There's no actual, 8D underwater backgammon happening with Trump. He doesn't actually seem to be that smart, which is why he's getting dinged.
I really like the delivery, though. I did everything right, and they indicted me.
The issue is that he didn't seem to do everything right. Like, you don't say this
Yep.
shit on phone calls that you get recorded on or text messages.
We're texting.
yeah. You-
Oh, what are you doing?
Yeah, you don't show off. I look at these documents that I got, dude. Like, look, oh my god, look at it, dude. Like, isn't it so cool? It's still classified though. Like, you don't say that shit. That's not doing it right, Trump. All right, let's continue.
the case of Bill Clinton's national security advisor, remember that? Sandy Berger. He was caught stealing classified documents from the National Archives, very big ones, very important ones, by stuffing them in his pants. That's pretty. And putting them also in his socks. And he destroyed them and cut the tape with scissors, cut them all up. What Berger did was highly illegal, but he was given nothing, no jail time, nothing happened. There are countless other examples. Bill Clinton, who I happen to like, hard to believe, right? Before I did this, I was actually quite friendly with him. Nice guy. They should have used him a little bit more as an advisor on the 2016 election. He said, you better get to Wisconsin, you're going to lose. No, we're not. You better get to Michigan, you're going to lose. No, we're not. They did. Bill Clinton lost the nuclear codes, and absolutely nothing was done about it. He lost the nuclear codes.
Was he president at the
George
time?
W. Bush White House lost 22 million emails, a record. NARA cannot assure complete transfer of any of the Bush records. A document shredding truck was spotted on the way to Dick Cheney's house. Can you imagine?
Okay.
Hillary Clinton took hundreds
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. We lost emails. Okay, you have to prove that they were actually destroyed intentionally, or there wasn't like a fuck up, because IT bullshit happens all the time. We spotted a document shredding truck going to Dick Cheney's house. Like, now you're really grasping at straws. Like, wasn't Dick Cheney also a CEO? There's many reasons why you'd be shredding stuff. Like, it's he's putting together like a bunch of just random data points, and he's asking you to like fill in the pattern, complete the pattern, fill in the gaps. But that's not proof of anything. Oh my god.
Yeah, this seems like a bit of a reach when it comes to that.
Yeah. Occam's razor, Dev. The most likely explanation is not that Trump got caught lying, as Hillary, Bill, and Biden all did too, but that Trump is the only one not in the club. I think it's also Occam's razor to point out that Trump is probably being an outsider to the mechanisms of how politics works. He doesn't know what to do. I think that's it. You know, Nancy Pelosi clearly knows how to do insider trading and not get caught, right? These are all people having been in the political game for decades. They know where the limits are. They know what they can pull off without getting caught. You know, they know what they can do and what they can't do. They know what too far is. They know how to hide themselves. Trump just didn't know how to hide himself, which is why he got caught, right? It's also very reasonable, in fact, that if for some reason Hillary was dumb enough to leave as much evidence lying around as Trump did, that she would also get fucked. Patterns are proof. No, they're not. Patterns are patterns. Patterns are the beginning of knowledge, but not the end. Okay, that's...
It would seem, as you just said, like Trump just doesn't know how the game is played.
Yep.
Doesn't know the boundaries. Doesn't know the waters. What he can get away with.
Mm-hmm.
And there is some truth to it. Like, he is not part of the club. Like, people who are probably part of the club, they probably do share each other's secrets. They probably do tell each other what they can and can't get away with.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just not privy to that information.
Mm-hmm.
And didn't find out about it until it was too late.
Yeah. The issue ultimately, like, there's a lot of coping in chat right now. The issue with the coping is that your position, guys, is unfalsifiable. That's the problem. Is that, you know, if it turns out like there is no way to actually prove to you that Trump is guilty, if he is guilty, because you'll just say it was all made up by the deep state trying to stop Trump, right? There's no way to prove to you that other politicians are actually innocent if they are innocent, because you'll just say that it was all covered up properly. Like, you hold a position that cannot be proven true or false. So you simply assume that it's true because it's good for your side. And that's not how I operate. It's
How dare you, Dev? How dare you not be a partisan? Everything they're saying is a lie.
Mm-hmm.
Which sometimes it's true, but
So Agrizer says,
lies.
as Styx says, the law is a spider's web. The flies get caught and the wasps go free. Dev, are you okay with that? No, but is your solution to abolish law? Like, what do you want to do here? All right. It's because they're going after Trump, but no one else. No, Pirate Chance, because they don't have evidence on anyone else. You need evidence to go after someone. And they don't have recordings of Hillary saying, I know I'm guilty and I'm doing it, the way they have recordings of Trump saying that. That's the difference. Okay, let's continue on finally. I do want to finish this because I have maybe 20 minutes left of our allotted time. It's soon dinner time for me. Okay, let's go.
Of thousands of dollars worth of furniture, china, flatware, rugs, and more from the White House. And she wasn't prosecuted. How about that one? She took the furniture and the china. How about if Trump did that? You think Trump would have a little problem? The horrific violations of my rights by crooked Joe Biden's weaponized Department of Injustice are unthinkable. It's unthinkable what's happened. So bad for our country. Democrats all, they lawlessly pierced my attorney-client privilege with lawyers. What they did to lawyers, what they have done to our lawyers, all of them.
Okay, it's not attorney-client privilege if you were telling them to hide documents. Like, it doesn't count in that point, at that point, because now you're asking them to do something illegal.
We've learned more from the Washington Post, New York Times, about the DOJ's boxes hoax. It's a boxes hoax, than from prosecutors themselves. We want to read about it. You pick up the Washington Post. which is not doing well, or you pick up the New York Times. But they'll do better now because of these things. You know, this is the only way they survive, but they'll end up dying. But it's not supposed to be that way. We don't want to learn from the Times. We don't want to learn from leaks. We want to learn from the people we're supposed to learn from. It's like a leaking sieve in Washington. But we learned nothing about the Biden bribery scheme or special counsel Robert Hur's investigation. Robert Hur is doing the Biden investigation. He's a very respected, very nice person. Very nice person. Mine's not such a nice person. Mine's a deranged lunatic.
Okay.
Which are many times the magnitude of ours in both number and severity. That's the prosecutor that they gave. He has found nothing. He totally exonerated Mike Pence. I'm happy about that. Mike did nothing wrong, but he happened to have classified documents in his house. But they exonerated him, and Biden is a different story. I mean, so much. You have to really think about what I said as a senator. He took all of those documents. It's unprecedented. The prosecutor in the case, I will call it our case, is a thug. I've named him Deranged Jack Smith. I wonder what his name used to be, Jack Smith. It sounds so innocent, doesn't it? Jack Smith. What's his name? Jack Smith. He's a very nice man. He's a behind-the-scenes guy, but his
That is
record is
the
absolutely
very
atrocious.
stereotypical American name.
Yeah, Jack Smith.
Jack Smith.
Mhm.
It's like a name Hideo Kojima would come up with.
It
for,
is,
like, an
yes,
American
actually.
character.
It's very yeah, it's very Kojima-esque. All right, let's see. Let's
Does
continue.
political hit jobs. He's been known to viciously arrest a certain governor. You know the governor, Bob McDonnell of Virginia, and absolutely ruined his life and the life of his family. All these wonderful family members, I knew them. Only to have the case overturned 8-0 by the Supreme Court. He destroyed that man and he destroyed that family. And by the way, I will tell you, I'm here and I love you all, and we can take it. But what these thugs have done to my family is a disgrace. I will tell you that. And I say it to all of the fake news because there's a lot of it back there. What they did to my family, and that young man right there, he's answered more subpoenas than any human being in the history of the world. And you know what? They have nothing after all of those subpoenas. Literally,
We'll see.
thousands of them. Congress, fake counsels, Mueller report, all of this. All he did is answer subpoenas all the time. At least
And now he's just throwing shit at the wall at this point. Other unrelated stories.
But Eric is fantastic, and what he and Don, and Ivanka, and the whole group, it's what they've gone through, and these are serious people. These are serious people. But what he's done to my family, what they have done to my family is horrible. He also tried to railroad John Edwards on a completely bogus legal theory that didn't hold up in court. It's no wonder this raging lunatic was shipped off to The Hague to prosecute war criminals using globalist tribunals, not beholden to the Constitution or the rule of law. Two things Jack Smith clearly disdains. You take a look at this guy. He looks like a thug. But then I watched him make a speech the other day, and he was
Thug
trembling.
physiognomy.
His territory. He feels much safer in the inner sanctums of the Department of Injustice, where he can be in his room and scream at people. He's a raging and uncontrolled Trump hater, as is his wife, who also happened to be the producer of that Michelle Obama puff piece. It was total puff piece. This is the guy I've got. Don't forget, this persecution is being done by the same weaponized agencies that for 7 years have been running illegal psychological warfare campaigns against the American people, much as if they were trying to destabilize a foreign country. From the Russia hoax to the no collusion Mueller witch hunt to impeachment hoax number 1, impeachment hoax number 2, the 51 lying intelligence offers. How about them? They said it's Russia disinformation, and they knew it wasn't, which made about, according to some of the great pollsters that are right
Yeah,
here,
this is all unrelated
from anywhere
to.
from a 10 to 17 point difference.
All unrelated to
Yet
the
we still
documents,
got
Trump.
more
Come
votes
on.
than any sitting president in history in the second election. And we actually did much better in the second election than we did in the first election. The fake dossier, paid for by the Democrats. How about the fake dossier? Remember that one? You think that was easy to go home and say, "Hello, darling, how are you?" when they read about
Why
that?
do you say it did better
Wasn't
on the
easy at
second
all.
election than the first one?
Spying on my campaign.
I think he actually did get
Yeah.
more votes in total, just because there's more people in America after the 4 years. The population went
Yeah,
up.
like-
Yeah.
Populations grow, but like he lost 4 states than he did.
Yeah,
Fair
but
enough.
yeah, I think the idea is that he did better than he did in 2016, but that Biden also did better than that. So that's kind of the point. Yeah. Also, he still believes that he won 2020, but yeah.
We caught them spying on my campaign. the FBI Twitter file.
Shaker Silver says it's not unrelated if you look at the greater context. No, it in fact does not matter what the Trump Russia bullshit was, because that wasn't part of the indictment that we just read. All right, this indictment is specifically about the Mar-A-Lago records, the documents, the classified documents. It's not about anything else happening in New York. It's not about the Georgia case, not about the January 5th case. It's not about the Russia bullshit. It's about this. Trump is bringing it all up at the same time to try to associate the really dumb attempts to get him jailed, like the Georgia one and the January 5th one or January 6th one. Those ones they don't really have any standing, in my opinion. He's trying to associate those dumb ones with the one that might actually hurt him, which is the documents one. That's what he's doing here. He's trying to draw this comparison to make everyone think it's all bullshit when only some of it is bullshit.
And so much more. It's all been a battle of disinformation, one thing after the other, and all to protect the radical left misfits. It's also no coincidence that these charges against me came down the very same day. Evidence revealed Joe Biden took a $5 million bribe from Ukraine. Took a $5 million bribe. But the FBI and the Justice Department don't even want to talk about it. They showed something on television tonight. It had zero time on the three major networks, zero. But my impeachment had almost all the time. I think I had 351 minutes. They had no minutes. Okay? I think a lot of people are going to vote. Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to vote. I will tell you, I just left Miami, and I've never seen love in the streets like that. I've never seen it. We've seen a lot of love. I've never seen love like that, because they know what we all go through. They know what we've gone through, and they see it, and they're smart. And, you know, many of those people coming from Cuba, Venezuela, other countries, they've seen this happening to their countries. I used to say that the United States, if it keeps going this way, it's going to be Venezuela on steroids. And now we're buying oil from Venezuela. Can you believe it? We have more liquid.
So this is like actually one of the scarier conversations, right? Is there is going to be a political even if they find out that, like, they go through the trial process and they determine that Trump's actually guilty, Trump actually did it. There's there's ample evidence. Yeah, they have him saying all sorts of things. They have all the evidence in the world. Trump is just guilty. He actually did the wrong thing. All right. But now you are taking somebody who is still popular in the minds of the American public, who could still win the next election, and you're jailing him. And that's a scary conversation now, because it's like, well, he's guilty, and if guilty, should be punished the way that anyone else would. But that also means that the punishment, even if justified, even if correct, is now changing the outcome of an election. And that's like, that's a rough, that's like some very rough waters to try to navigate, you know?
Mm-hmm. Like, if he is not guilty, then an argument could be made like, oh, you're just smearing him in order to make sure that he loses. And that could open up a can of worms when it comes to future elections.
Exactly,
like,
right?
Other people could do that. But Trump is also, at the same coin, kind of unique in a sense that yes, it could be the case that people are using to damage his reputation to make sure that he loses, but he's also shot himself in the foot in the process by giving those people that ammunition.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's like, you know, if they find if he's actually guilty and he's punished for it, good. But also they've now, like, they have interfered in an election because people still like Trump. If they find him innocent, or I guess not guilty, you know, if they find him not guilty, and then Trump can go back on the campaign trail, like, that's also a double-edged sword, because now Trump can come out and say that, oh, we won against the corrupt establishment, and now we're going to take him out. We're going to win the White House. Like, he can use it as a rallying cry for the election, but also they will have impacted negatively in some ways his presidential run. So yeah, it's one of those scary situations where, like, I don't know if there's actually a good answer here. If we're just talking the practical reality of keeping the democratic process running appropriately, the way that it should run, I don't think there's any good. There's no good solution here. I think.
Right. And on the adverse, like, I believe Hillary Clinton has also lamented, like, her investigation during the election as one of the reasons why she lost. Like,
And it probably
even
was,
if
to be honest. Probably was, yeah.
yeah, it might have had an effect. Like, but in that case, she's also shot herself in the foot.
Yep.
Like, even if James Comey came out and said, "Oh, there's nothing we could do to catch her," like, we can't prove it intent and all that stuff. It's still probably damaged her electability during 2016.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Liquid gold under our feet than any other nation, but we're buying tar from Venezuela, and we're refining it in Houston, the dirtiest, worst oil probably anywhere in the world, and we're refining it. So you can imagine what's going up in the air, and our beautiful stuff we're not taking out of the ground and making a lot of money and paying off debt and reducing taxes still further, which we were in the process of doing. They want to distract from the real espionage and the real crime, so let's use President Trump to do so. Let's go out and let's indict President Trump so they don't talk about the $5 million bribe. Just yesterday, Senator Grassley revealed that the Burisma executive who allegedly paid the bribe reportedly has Crooked Joe on tape. They have 17 tapes, I understand. He must be a nice guy to deal with, right? The guy from Burisma, nice company, they got him and Hunter on 17 different tapes, supposedly. But the FBI isn't showing them. Remember, they impeached me for asking a simple question about Biden's corrupt dealings in Ukraine, and now they see that once again I was right. I was totally right. Joe Biden and the radical left can take foreign bribes and be totally protected. Republicans all, you must finally get tough. You've got to get tough. You got to get tough, and you got to show them. When you arrest your leading political opponent, we no longer have a democracy. When people are allowed to pour through our open borders and our elections are rigged, our country is in very serious trouble. When inflation is allowed to rage, when energy independence and dominance, we had independence and dominance. We were going to be soon very, very dominant. Within 6 months, we're going to dominate the whole world with energy, make a fortune. We were going to be paying off debt. And
dominate the world,
at a
Daddy
level that
Trump.
nobody's ever seen, and they came in and they ended it. But when that's taken away from us, when interest rates and taxes spiral upward in an uncontrolled way, when murderers are allowed to roam, these are horrible killers, murderers are allowed to roam the streets of our Democrat-run cities unchecked, but the incompetent district attorney in New York indicts Trump for a crime that everybody agrees.
Unrelated, but true.
Everybody, there is no crime. But murderers go out, and nobody ever even comes and knocks on their door, and they know they're there, and they know their rooms, and they know their locations, and they're roaming our cities all over. And some of them are coming in right now through our borders. But then you have a nation that, as we are, is in serious, serious decline. We have a nation in serious decline. If the communists get away with this, it won't stop with me. They will not hesitate to ramp up their persecution of Christians, pro-life activists, parents attending school board meetings, and even future Republican candidates, which they do. We must end it permanently, and we must end it immediately. Now that the seal, so important, is broken, the seal is broken by what they've done. They should never have done this. This was an unwritten rule. You just don't, unless it's really bad. But you just don't. But the seal is now broken. In addition to closing the border and removing all of the criminal elements that have illegally invaded our country, making America energy independent and even dominant again, and immediately ending the war between Russia and Ukraine. I'll have it ended in 24 hours.
Will you? That's an interesting claim. Let's see.
I will appoint a real special prosecutor to go after the most corrupt president in the history of the United States of America, Joe Biden, and the entire Biden crime family. Name a special prosecutor. And all others involved with the destruction of our...
That's cope. He said that about Hillary for 4 years and never touched her.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Not gonna fucking happen. Even if Biden was guilty, he's not gonna fucking do it. Yeah. That's
right, like whatever happened
rhetoric.
to lock her up? Like,
yeah.
he had 4 years to do that.
Yeah.
And now he's just doing a no you.
Yeah, pretty much.
Our elections, our borders, and our country itself. They're destroying our country. And when I'm reelected, and we will get reelected, we have no choice. We're not going to have a country anymore. I will totally obliterate the deep state. We will obliterate the deep state.
You had 4 years to obliterate it, dude. What were you doing? Like, it's one of those things where it's like, Trump, what the fuck? Trump, what the fuck were you doing this whole time? Why didn't you obliterate it in those 4 years?
But those
You think you're gonna do it this
golf holes
time?
need filled.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah. That's so dumb.
And we know who they are. I know exactly who they are. They want to take away my freedom because I will never let them take away your freedom. It's very simple. They want to silence me because I will never let them silence you. They want you silent. And I am the only one that can save this nation because you know they're not coming after me, they're coming after you, and I just happen to be standing in their way, and I will never be moving. On November 5th, 2024, justice will be done. We will take back our country, and we will make America great again. Thank you. God bless you all. Thank you. Thank
And
you
there we
very
go.
much. Great.
So that was Trump's response to getting indicted. If we cut out all the stuff, about the unrelated things, he talked about like other cases that aren't related, and he didn't really have much of an argument regarding the actual indictment. There wasn't really much there. It was him saying, "No, I had the authority," but I mean, that's what's in question, right? You can't just proclaim that. That's the thing that has to be determined. Like the argument just simply seems to be, yeah, I could do it, but like, why? I could. It's like, well, okay.
He's Trump, Dev. He can do what he wants. Got
I
answer.
guess we'll see. Yeah. Yes, chat. Unrelated. It is the other 3 cases against him that we talked about way back at the start here. Unrelated cases. They are not related. Different events, different prosecutors, different jurisdictions, not related. Yeah, you know what? People are saying, "Oh, he was fighting his own party, dude. It's not his fault he didn't do it." Listen, Trump sold himself as like the ultimate deal maker. He was the guy who was going to negotiate. Why didn't he fucking negotiate anything for 4 fucking years? It's just, all right. Yeah, here's the thing. If 2024 is Biden versus Trump, and Trump somehow doesn't get slapped with like a jail sentence from this indictment, which he might not, but he might. Who do you think actually wins? Because Biden is going like full senile old man mode at this point.
I'm not so sure if like round 2, because have we ever seen like historically like presidents who've lost against a candidate winning in round 2
I don't think so.
against the incumbent? Because I believe the incumbent usually has the advantage, and he lost as the incumbent.
Yeah, I think
So
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, if this happens again, I'm not sure Trump would win, unless like Biden fucking dies like of old age or something, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
if he went up against Kamala, and Kamala is fairly unlikable, you could probably see maybe like that should shake things up a bit.
Yep. $5 from Galaxy. Old Zelda games are not canon anymore. It's easy to make you see like you do to us. LOL. Yeah. On the gaming stream last night, I was raging over a bunch of weird shit happening in canon in the new Zelda game.
Yeah, I think Breath of the Wild is a new canon, right? From that came on.
I think so, yeah. Which I don't like. Okay.
Because I think with Zelda, there's like the constant, but there's also like each new series of games is different.
Kind of not. It's a fucking convoluted, that conversation. Anyway, it's 5:00. It's dinner time for me. We've read all the supers. Apparently, Kibbs is abandoning us. We're not doing barrel trauma tonight, Kibbs. You fuck. So yeah, I'll probably stream something else after dinner. We'll see. But thanks for being here, guys.
I think, guys.
Yeah. If you're still coping about Trump, you just have to understand that you're wrong, and that Trump shot himself in the foot, and that's just how it is.
Yeah, we'll see how the prosecution or the indictment plays out in court. Guilty until proven innocent, but he, from the looks of it, if the evidences are true, he probably shouldn't have done that.
Yep.
Like,
Dev, you are willfully ignorant. No, it's just that I'm not eternally... my butthole hasn't been fucking flex sealed onto Trump's dick. That's the difference. All right. See you guys later. Have a good one.
see ya later. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend.
Green Acres is the place to be. Farm living is the life for me. Land spreading out so far and wide. Keep Manhattan, just give me that countryside.
York is where I'd rather stay. I get allergic smelling hay. Just adore a penthouse view. Darling, I love you. Give me Park Avenue.
The George.
That's yours.
Fresh air.
Trump Tower.
You are my wife.
Goodbye, City Line.
Green Acres, we are there.
Please.